Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi out here Saturday morning, and the Raptors beat the Utah Jazz for their sixth win in 7 games. And if you count the shot that Jamal Shed made, it's actually a 7-game winning streak right now. I kind of want to just say it's a 7-game win streak. I mean, how close was it to a win in the middle of the 3 wins on both sides of Jamal Shed's last second shot? So why not? Let's just say it's a 7-game win streak, y'all. We're going to be winning like this. We might as well. Josh Tibbin, you're the only reason why it isn't. You should have gave those hometown fans the right to go home and feel good. And the Raptors would have had 25 wins right now. Well, 24 wins for the Raptors as of last night. And that means they're getting closer and closer to the 26 that I wanted them to get for the season. So they only need to win 2 more. Yeah, that's awesome. We're going to have a better record than last season. And in some ways, that's impressive. I would say that the injuries for both years have been similar. There were a lot of injuries this year, too, just like last year. And I would also say last year we had Siakam for half the year. And we had Anunoby, too. And we're going to win more games this year. Something's weird about this. Were we really that bad at the end of the season last year? Yes, we were. And we did have a lot of injuries at the end of the season last year with Jakob and Scott being out. I was right. Scotty played last night. I knew he would. I sent him a message yesterday during the day saying, Scotty, I hope you play tonight. And he did. I was so happy. I also sent him a message. I'm going to say, Isaac Campbell, thank you for coming in and putting me on blast right away. He said, only big W's in the chat. That's what we used to say to Scott on Twitch whenever he win 2K games. Big dubs in the chat. Put the big dubs in the chat. Well, Scotty Barnes, Switch family, 2022, still in full effect on the Raptor Freak channel. That's right, Isaac Campbell, Fiercey Salsera, Cool Cat, Tom Duke. That's right. It's still in effect. I told Scott this week, actually. I sent him a message on Instagram saying, Scotty Barnes, Twitch family, 2022, still got your back, Scott. Just so you know, we're still out there and we still love you. That's what I said to him. So, yeah, Scotty was a badass. He got the chain last night against Utah. And, well, it was a weird thing because we were kind of talking about this yesterday about Scotty not really being the man or the go-to guy or the main scorer and maybe just the glue guy, the guy who takes the hardest defensive assignment for the other team, the guy who's going to get rebounds, playing hard defense, doing all the other stuff, maybe not necessarily scoring so much, but he was the leading scorer last night. That's weird. And he was attacking the rim like a madman. I love seeing Scotty get aggressive, going to the rim and dunking it and stuff like that. Alvin Williams even brought it up. I had compared Scotty to Shaq in recent weeks, and Alvin brought it up on the broadcast last night. He said, I don't like to compare because there's nobody like Shaq, but some of the stuff this guy is doing right now could be like Shaq. And I was like, yeah, I see that too. I mean, there's a certain power and speed and a combination of athleticism that's not on the scale of Shaq, but it's on that scale trending towards it. Just like Brandon Ingram's trending on the scale on the trend of Kevin Durant and the way he plays. There's similarities there. There's echoes. There's reverberations. What is that word? Anyway, you know what I mean. Good to see you, Isaac. I love you, man. And Trevor J, I love you too. Let's see what he's saying here. You will never be good enough for everybody, but you will always be good enough for someone who really appreciates you. Man, I don't know how you do this, Trevor J, but you always hit me in the heart with your words of wisdom. And they're always poignant to me. Man, Trevor, how do you know? How do you know, Trevor J? The commissioner of fun, Trevor J. I love you, man. I love you, Trevor, so much. Trevor's saying that AJ off the bench in the last 3 games, 78 points. In the last time a Toronto Raptor had 78 points in a 3-game span off the bench was Jalen Rose back in January 2005. Wow. That's a stat dig up there. You must be hanging out with Karthika to be able to bring me stat like that. Yeah, Trevor, I like that. That's interesting. I'm not a big Jalen Rose fan, but of course, Jalen Rose was an important Raptor for a few years on our team. But I love this. I love this stat. AJ Lawson with only 18 last night, but still the high scoring off the bench punch that AJ Lawson's been providing the team, along with the deflections and just being a general shit disturber, have been fantastic. Fantastic. What a great game last night. It was enjoyable. The Jazz were a little bit better with Kessler. Not with Kessler, with Markkanen and Clarkson. Clarkson back. And yeah, they were a little bit of a task, but they still sucked. And our Raptors, even though we did play mostly our bench guys, once again, the system of Darko, the get after it, the way we play all out and for each other is just unbeatable. It's unbeatable right now. And the funny thing is, at this point, Tank Nation's conceded. I'm serious. I'm looking around on social media, and Tank Nation has just resigned themselves to the fact that the Raptors are too good to tank, and this schedule is too easy. And in some ways, they're not whining and crying about it. They actually are kind of enjoying the wins and enjoying the games of seeing Jamal Shed, AJ Lawson, and Orlando Robinson blow up and play better and better. I mean, I like that. I mean, any person who actually roots for this team has got to be excited about seeing young players and the promise of what can be for next year. I mean, seriously. And then, once again, those ping pong ball odds are going to just stay what they're going to be anyway, and they're going to fall as they may. And we are lucky because we have a badass front office with Bobby and Masai in charge. So that's it right there. That's it right there, man. Yeah, it's going to be all right no matter what happens. And that's why we should enjoy what's going on. I mean, we can't help it if the NBA gave us all of our easy games at the end of the year. They didn't give us any easy games for the first half of the season. And now we get all of our easy games now. And, well, it's just how it is. It's just how it is. That's it right there. Yeah, Trevor's saying that Scotty had a big game. Raptors defense very suffocating. They turned the Utah Jazz over and over again. What a display. Yeah, the Jazz are susceptible. As our broadcast team pointed out last night, the Jazz are one of the worst teams for causing turnovers for themselves. And the Raptors are one of the best teams at causing the other team to turn the ball over. So it's a perfect storm of fun for Raptors fans to see the disorganization of the Utah Jazz turn the ball over all the time and the Raptors getting the ball back. Yeah. That was really fun. All right, let me see. You brought up Scotty and being suffocating. Let's go ahead and do the stars of the game. My first star of the game is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes in 24 minutes, not a whole lot of minutes. Very good production for 24 minutes. 8 of 16 from the field, so he shot 50%. 1 of 2 at the free throw line. That's at the 3-point line. That's still 50%. 3 for 6 at the free throw line. That's 50% too. So Scotty had a true shooting percentage of 50% right through all three. Field goals, 3-pointers, and free throws. The free throws, come on, man. 50%? Come on now. 10 rebounds for Scott, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, a plus 13 with 20 points with the double-double, 20 and 10 in a 24-minute span. Scotty had a weird hairstyle last night. It was a little bit different. It was making me think like late 70s, like guy with the suit and a goldfish in his shoes. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was cool. He looked like a madman for a little while out there. He was playing like a madman, really mad at the refs. Yeah, the refs were bad last night. Ref report, undefeated. You guys come and talk to me in the morning of games. I'll tell you how the refs are going to be that night because I was exactly right. They were assholes. They were horrible to us last night. Sean Corbin really hates the Raptors. I'm just going to say that. So, Yesh Mehta, he hates the Raptors too. Mitchell Irvin doesn't totally hate us, but he's been screwing us over lately. Then he was kind of the only one out of the 3 refs that was kind of calling things fairly in some ways. There was one out of bounds play where Sean Corbin was just really happy to give the ball to the Jazz, but Mitchell Irvin overrode him and said, no, it's actually Raptors ball. What are you doing here? Yeah, there was a lot of shenanigans with that, especially with the foul calls. Now, why is it in the first half, if RJ Barrett puts his arm around a defender, that's hooking, an offensive foul. But when Jordan Clarkson does it to Garrett Temple in the second half and even throws in an elbow to the face right after hooking him, there's no offensive foul there. Sayesh Mehta, huh? What is that? That is bias calling. And there was a lot of this home cooking for the Utah Jazz on their home court, home advantage, ref advantage. Their players, all-star was there, Lauri Markkanen, their best bench player, Jordan Clarkson there, and we still beat their ass with the bottom of our bench, our roster. Yeah, we still beat their ass. Although barbecue was cooking last night. Boy, was barbecue cooking. And you saw the chemistry of Emmanuel, RJ, and Scotty on full display last night. And you saw a portal to the future. Yeah. Did you see some of the amazing touch passes, full court stuff that Emmanuel, RJ, and Scotty were orchestrating between each other? Emmanuel get a steal, and then he'd throw the ball cross court Over the other side, RJ's right there, open three, boom, right down there. The chemistry between Scotty and RJ is undeniable. These guys fit really, really well. And I ain't standing. People shut up about that after a while. In the beginning, they were kind of saying, oh, RJ and Scotty can't play together. They can't play together. Well, they see it. They know it's true that they can play together. And they shut up about that whole whining and crying thing. This is the thing, man. RJ's so badass. You see him with the passes. You see him with the scoring like he always does. That's why they don't like him on this team, because he's empowered and he's powerful and people can't stop him. And they don't like that weapon on our team. And they, in some ways, they don't like the Toronto guy on the Toronto team playing for Toronto with the Toronto heart like AJ and RJ do. That's what I'm saying. So they're going to make up all kinds of bullshit rumors. Lakers want RJ all of a sudden. Okay, well, you can want him, but you got Luka and LeBron already. What do you want RJ for? RJ's here in Toronto. He's on the right team. That's right. My second star of the game last night was Emmanuel Quickly. Yeah, Scotty was so pissed at the refs. Early in the game, he was yelling at them, and he was rightfully right, because they were calling nothing for us and touch fouls on Jordan Clarkson. Seriously, Jordan Clarkson got treated like LeBron at times last night. You breathe on Jordan Clarkson, he's going the line. Meanwhile, we get hammered every time we go to the basket. Half the dunks that we missed at the rim were because they fouled us and nobody called anything. Scotty had a couple of dunks that he didn't get clean because they were grabbing him on the arms. And it's like, refs, if you ain't going to call nothing, they're going to miss the dunks because they are literally grabbing their arms as they're trying to go up there. Emmanuel Quickly in 25 minutes, 20 points, 6 of 13, 2 of 8 from 3, 6 of 6 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 2 fouls, plus 14. Yeah, Emmanuel had the highest plus minus on the team last night. He was a great floor general last night, mixing up his own shot and also finding other people. And I just love the flow of it. In some ways, there was that one pass that Emmanuel gave to Colin Castleton in the lane where he couldn't miss the shot. That was a beautiful little just whoop over here to you, and you put it in. Emmanuel just gets the flow of the game. And in some ways, he gets the flow in the game of getting a rhythm and finding his teammates with great passes and looking for like the natural places in the game where he can do stuff, but also his own shot. And he is a deadly open shot outside. Like, I love how they hide him behind like center picks on the outside. And then all of a sudden he just shoots the shot over and it goes into the net. Emmanuel's badass. And the broadcast was talking about how Emmanuel, with this long stretch of games together, we're starting to really see the night in, night out kind of contributions that Emmanuel Quickly can do dependably over a period of time when he's in the groove and he's been available and he's healthy. And I love it, man. Emmanuel, you're badass. Barbecue was in full effect last night, and it's getting more and more accepted that is the nickname for these guys. Alvin Williams said, I just said BBQ. I don't even understand that. He said, well, BBQ was sizzling last night is what Matt Devlin said. And also, Alvin heard the nickname for Brandon Ingram last night for the first time, Notorious BI3. He's like, did you just come up with that, Matt? He's like, no, they've been saying it for a bit since he got here. And he's like, really? That's good. That's a really good nickname. I was like, yeah, isn't it? And he's like, and Alvin's like, that's one of my favorite rappers, Notorious B.I.G. And it's like, yeah, Notorious BI3 coming to a theater near you at Scotiabank Arena. You're going to see it. That's right. You're going to see it. My third star of the game is RJ Barrett, Captain Canada, our kid from Mississauga, killing it. 25 minutes for RJ, 7 of 14. He shot 50% also. 1 of 4 from three-pointer, 2 of 3 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 17 points for RJ in 25 minutes. It's a ho-hum game in some ways. This is not a super stellar game for RJ, but it fit in what we needed him to do. And the thing that I loved about RJ last night was his passing. RJ had some of the craziest bounce passes, through the needle passes, and this man is a real bona fide passer and assist guy in this league this year. And it's so awesome to see. I mean, this was not how he was in New York, and him being this way in Toronto is just awesome. So RJ only got 17 points, but he passed really well, and he got baskets when we needed them. Like, there were a couple times where he was just rolling to the basket. Nobody could stop him. That high arcing over the outstretched arm layups off the top of the glass kind of stuff that RJ does. It's just badass. I love it so much. Barbecue had to be my top 3 stars because it really was a barbecue show last night. It really, really was. And I'm so glad Scott showed up and played in the game last night. I was hoping Abaji would play too, but alas, he was not able to return to the game last night, coming from injury. My 4th star of the game. We're doing 7 stars, by the way, because the Raptors did it like that last night. AJ Lawson's my 4th star. The other Canadian kid came in, and as Trevor said, he got 18 points off the bench in his 3rd consecutive game off the bench, 78 points in the last 3 games. Fantastic. 6 of 10 from the field, so AJ was efficient. He didn't overshoot. Like often I'll see AJ shoot like 6 for 24, but no, he was 6 for 10. So he only got 10 shots, but he made 6 of them. 2 of 5 from 3. He's making those corner threes. AJ, after the game, he got the interview talking about how he appreciates his teammates finding him on those corner threes in the corner and making them. And you can tell AJ's just really loving it, finally getting back up to this level of the NBA. And he's flourishing. He's doing really, really well. And it's fantastic. 4 for 6 at the free throw line for AJ Lawson, 5 rebounds and 1 turnover, a +10 with 18 points, 24 minutes. Yeah, great scoring punch off the bench. And this may be part of what he can do for us next year also. If he sticks around and we keep him around for next year, he could be a real bolster of points off the bench. And not only that, a very good high-end defender. Because that's the one thing. One thing you notice of AJ Lawson on defense, he's very, very aware, and he's very quick reacting. And often you'll see somebody pass a ball over his head, and he'll stick his arm up really fast and deflect the ball, and all of a sudden there's a turnover. So he's so awesome for this. He's a really good defensive player. And the really interesting thing is the Raptors are the best they've been all year long defensively right now. And that is with the inclusion of guys like AJ Lawson, Jared Rhoden, and Orlando Robinson. They have put the Raptors as the 3rd best defensive team in the league right now, according to Roddenberry's axis that he does. You know, the NBA guy, he takes all the logos and puts them on a thing, and they rank from their defense and offense. Well, the Raptors are the 3rd best defense, and we're doing it with G Leaguers and 2-way contracts right now. It's fantastic. It's so good. So good. My 5th star of the game is Orlando Robinson, who had a double-double again last night. 14 points for Orlando, 10 rebounds on 4 of 10 shooting, 6 of 6 at the free throw line, or 6 of 8, sorry. 3 offensive rebounds, 5 assists even for Orlando, 2 blocks, a +4, 14 points. Yeah, Orlando is just like Monique said in the chat last night, he's getting more and more comfortable. He's getting more and more comfortable with being on the team, understanding the proclivities of his teammates, and working with them in better and better ways for success. I really love how tough he is. He's very, very strong. He's taking a lot of physical contact. He's doing a lot fighting in there for rebounds. In fact, he was so good at keeping possessions alive for us last night by getting offensive rebounds and also just tipping it out to other people. May not get the ball outright, but he's getting a hand on it and keeping it alive, and we're getting second chance shots because of Orlando Robinson. And his defense has been really, really superb. He's standing off against the big man on the other side. Now, we didn't have to deal with Kessler last night because they did DMP him, but he's standing off with them, and he's holding his ground, and nothing's coming easy for any team in the paint against the Raptors right now. And a big part of it is because of O-Rob. O-Rob, you're badass. And I really do want you on the Raptors next year because you've proven that you belong with us. Colin Castleton is my next star of the game. He started the game last night, and he had his first double-digit game for the Raptors. 24 minutes, 5 of 5 from the field, so he did miss a shot, including a three-pointer, 2 for 2 at the free throw line. So, Scotty, you were 50% true shooting. Colin Castleton was 100% true shooting. Two offensive rebounds, 7 rebounds altogether, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, though, for Colin, +1 with 13 points in 24 minutes. Yeah, it's just a good, solid game by Castleton. And just like Robinson, he's getting more and more comfortable. Of course, he hasn't been here as long, so he still kind of sticks out and makes some mistakes, but he's getting better and better every game, honestly. He's been on our team for a week now, and he has gotten better in each game that he's played. And he's getting a lot of minutes with the Raptors. And in some ways, you can tell he's starting to bond with the players. And who knows? He may be a part of our long-term also. I'd love to see him in our summer league for sure this summer, and we'll see where it goes from there. He wouldn't be a horrible two-way to have next year, guys, for 905 and the Raptors, honestly. He wouldn't be horrible for that. He'd be good for center depth for sure. My last star of the game is Jamal. I'm going to say Jamal Shed. You're fun, man. You're a cool dude. You are a feisty guy, and man, you got a stinger last night, didn't you? Yeah, that hurt, didn't it? Yeah, you got a stinger in your arm, and it was a little numb for a little bit. And you were like, oh, but you got through it, and you played awesome, man. Jamal off the bench is a backup point guard, 27 minutes, 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. I love the 3 of 4 from 3. 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers. +2 with 11 points for Jamal Shed. Yeah, Shed's awesome, man. You got to love Shed. Shed is a true point guard, and he's a real floor leader, and he's a humble floor leader, and he's just the best kind of point guard you can have on your team. Seriously. He's a real one. He's a real point guard, not some guy who's short, who scores a lot of baskets, who says he's a point guard just by label. He's a real point guard, and that's what you got to love about him. I'll go over the rest of the guys. Since there were only 2 more, almost everybody who played last night was a star. Jamison Battle started 3 of 11 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Yeah, I love the Jamison blocks. I mean, he had one early where he met somebody at the basket. I was like, holy crap, look at Jamison Battle get over there and block that shot. Really, really starting to well-round his game a little bit more other than just being a three-point shooter. And I love what Garrett Temple said about Jamison this week to the press, that Jamison Battle is going to be in this league for like 10 plus years because his skill is so necessary and needed in the NBA. He's going to have a job and he's going to have a long NBA career. So there you go, Jamison Battle. Undrafted all the way to this point in your career right now. And it's fantastic. 7 points for Jamison in 36 minutes. Maybe not hitting his shot, but he's showing a little bit more well-rounded stuff with the blocks and the rebounding. Good stuff. Then the last guy, Garrett Temple, the old vet coming in for 20 minutes, 1 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from three-point range, 3 of 4 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover, +7 with 6 points. Yeah, Garrett's awesome. Garrett's fun to watch. In some ways, it's cool to see the old head and how the old head thinks and how he reacts to certain situations on the court and what he will do and stuff like that. He's a great role model. He's a great example for those guys, and he does things right. And we appreciate and love Garrett Temple. That's right. Once again, Chris did not play on a DMP, coach's decision, and it's annoying me. It is starting to really, really annoy me. I'm going to say this right now. Well, we'll wait. We'll wait. We'll do the Instagram stories real quick because this is where I'll say it from. First of all, there is a game today, guys. 2 p.m., 9:05, or against the Windy City Bulls at Paramount Five Food Center, and I'll have the refs and the lineup news for that in a second. But yeah, there's a game, a 9:05 game. AJ Lawson showing that childhood connection between RJ gets the steal and throws it off to AJ in transition. He throws down the hammer dunk in transition. Beautiful stuff. Toronto to Toronto. Love seeing that. There's the 78-point graphic for AJ on his Instagram stories. Good stuff, AJ. You keep going, man. All right, here's Slim Duck. Now, Chris is saying this. He's got a song like it's about going home, coming home to a place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. And well, it's Oregon, guys. They're flying to Portland today, and he's going to be back where he played college at the Oregon Ducks. And in some ways, he's professing his love for his college territory. And so Chris is very happy to be back in Portland, to be around Oregon Duck country. Now, I want to say this right now, Darko. Whatever the hell's going on with Chris and why he's not playing right now, y'all need to play him in Portland. First of all, I'm going to say this. We've got a back-to-back tomorrow and Monday. And that is a tough back-to-back. Now, granted, the Raptors game will be at 5:30 Eastern time tomorrow in the afternoon. And so it's an afternoon game so they can get done with the game against Portland early enough to get a plane to Phoenix to be able to play Kevin Durant and the Suns on Monday in a back-to-back situation. But because it's a back-to-back and you have a limited roster right now, you've only had 9 guys available for most of the games recently, you better freaking play Chris in Portland tomorrow. That's what I'm going to say right now, Darko. If you listen to my show, Messiah and Bobby, whatever you're doing with Chris, just put it on hold and let that man get some time out on that court in Oregon, because that is what he wants. I can tell. So let that man play tomorrow. Free Chris Boucher. I'm officially on that train right now. Free Chris Boucher. Free Chris Boucher. Free Chris Boucher. That's right. We want to see him play against the Trailblazers and Delano Banton tomorrow. You better put him in. You better put him in, Darko. That's right. We want to see him back out there. There's Ulrich Shamshay walking into the game with his cool jacket. Yeah, Shamshay, you're awesome, man. I love you, Shamshay. Be a Raptor forever. That's what I'm saying. Jamal Shed putting on blast a guy, Yalexa DeBorg. I don't know who that is. Jamal. RJ Barrett with the same post as AJ Lawson, the childhood connection, the steal by RJ to AJ, and AJ throws it down. I love that so much. That's so beautiful to see. There's Siakam walking in the game wearing some glasses. You go, Siakam. You cool guy. Indiana Pacers. You keep winning, Pacers. Win, win, win. That's what I want to see from you guys. That's right. Kelly Olynyk has got some girl is interviewing him on a show. They say, hi, we have Kelly Olynyk of the New Orleans Pelicans on our show right here. And I'm going to ask him a few questions about his childhood and his basketball career. You know, I didn't really watch a lot of cartoons and stuff, is what Kelly's saying. I don't know. That's why they're saying he doesn't watch a lot of cartoons. Gray Dick saying happy birthday to his friend, some guy named White, who was at the Caravana parade with him a couple years ago when he went. Remember that? Yeah, so he's saying a happy birthday to one of his best friends, obviously. Matt Devlin's got some of the highlights from the other day. There's a AJ Lawson dunk on his Instagram right now. Let's see. Toronto Tempo has got information about playing basketball and wearing a hijab, and also information for coaches about having Muslim athletes on your team during Ramadan and things to keep in consideration for those athletes while they're fasting. So there you go. Good stuff on Toronto Tempo, educating the fans. And there's Scotty checking in at Salt Lake City yesterday. That is the post that I wrote him a message saying, I hope you play tonight. And he did. He came out there and played and got the chain because he was off the chain. There you go. There's your Instagram stories this morning. I really want Chris to play against the Trailblazers tomorrow, Darko. Make this happen. Let Chris play in front of his old alma mater, the Oregon Ducks crowd. They love him out there. You need to give the people what they want, Darko. You put him in and let him play against Portland. I don't know what this bullshit is, why y'all aren't playing Chris completely. Don't make no sense to me. You've had 10-man rotations all year, and you go down to 8-man rotation with only 9 men available. This don't make no sense to me. Stop doing this. This is what I'm saying right now. There you go. There you go. All right, let's get back to the chat and see what else you guys are saying about things here. That's right. Trevor's saying Robinson, another big game, 14, 10, and 5. Yeah, Orlando's awesome. And I'm really, really appreciate him being on our team. And I really do want him to stick around. The center depth has been very nice. It's been fun to watch a double center lineup with Colin and Orlando out there. Of course, Jakob didn't play last night. So there was a lot of time out there for O-Rob and Castleton to run around. And Kessler not playing helped also. Kessler was not used. And I mean, the Jazz, I swear I saw Will Hardy after the game smirking to Darko when he said, well, we wanted to lose or something like, you jackass, Will Hardy. Yeah, whatever. Of course you want to lose, you losers. You losing Utah Jazz, motherfuckers. That's what I call you guys. Yeah, you're motherfuckers. Nameless is here. Hola, muchachos and muchachas. Okay, hello to my Spanish teacher. Yes, I was wondering. So I've moved on in my Rosetta Stone lessons from Italian to Spanish now. My good paisano, my amigo, Nameless. Good stuff, man. He's saying, I love to see the Raptors practicing good theoretical basketball and building winning habits for next season. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's like Darko is a genius. I think that people are starting to get what I was saying early on, that Darko's doing it right. He's building something amazing with our Raptors, and we're really starting to see the real reality of it. The connection, the communication, the all for one, the one for all, the culture. The culture is badass. And Darko's culture, I love it. I love it. It's so much better than Nick's culture. Nick's culture was questioning and unsettled. And, Nick is one of those guys, if he was your boss at work, he'd gaslight you and make you work harder by saying, you could be doing this more on your productivity reports. If you did this just a little bit more harder, and you're always scared about your job. No, Nick Nurse is going to fire me because I'm not doing enough productivity. No, but Darko, if he's your boss at work, he's coming in and say, hey, Alexi, You're doing so good, man. I love you. You're doing so great. You want to come and have dinner with me and my wife after work? You and your wife, come on in. Yeah. This would be the difference is that one instills fear and gets motivation by fear. And then the other one gets motivation by love and connection. And I love the Darko culture. It's a culture we need in this world more than ever. Love and companionship and connectedness that is happy and trusting and working well together. And that's what we got with our team right now. And Scotty is the leader of it. He really, really does do that. Jamal Shed saying in an interview this week that, we set the tone for our game by Scotty. Scotty comes out and sets the tone for our team defensively, and we just follow his lead, is what he's saying. And that is a big part of why our defense is so good right now, because Scotty is the figurehead. He is the person that is the leader of it, and they have to fall in line with him, or they may get communicated to that, well, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And you know what? We're holding you accountable. That's what it's like with the Raptors right now. Accountability, but a fair and nice accountability, and also good praise for when you do good things also. So, yeah, you got to have both sides. Jimmy's here. Good to see the Pope of Positivity. Shooting ourselves in the foot long term. You think so? I don't really think so. I really don't. Let's think about this. What happened with the Hawks last year? Seriously, think about that. They got in the play-in. They got the first pick. We don't know if we're shooting ourselves in the foot until the draft goes down, Jimmy. We can't say for sure. In some ways, I don't want the first pick. In some ways, all right, this is what people have said recently on the broadcast in different places. Why not have a flat percentage of the teams that are in the bottom that aren't in the play-in for the top pick? And that way you get rid of the tanking mentality. And also, some people even went as far as saying you reward the team that's at the bottom that's at the top with the most wins, that they get the first pick because they're trying hard, even though they lost. There's some solutions to this. And I feel like the one about having a flat percentage for all the bottom teams would mess this whole tanking thing up right now. It wouldn't matter. In some ways, it wouldn't matter if you are one of the bottom 10 teams. You are going to get the same percentage for the first pick in the draft, no matter what. And the Wizards don't get any kind of favoritism for being absolute shite. And in some ways, as long as we're in that bottom 10, we have just as much chance as the other 9 teams. And we can win as we want to still. Now, if we mess around and we get in the play-in and leapfrog Chicago, well, that goes out the window because you got your chance to get in. So in some ways, maybe then the play-in spots are the least desirable places you want to be, because if you are not in the play-in, you have a chance for the first-round pick just as much as the worst team in the league. So I don't know. They could fix this. I don't know if we're shooting ourselves in the foot long-term. In fact, I would argue we're saving ourselves because we don't want to pay a top 5 pick salary, and our salary cap is going to make a lot of hard decisions with some of our role players and the people that are on the periphery of our roster that we may not be able to keep, people like Chris Boucher. So I would say this may actually work out well if we have a pick between 5 and 10 and not in the top 5. Seriously. Name is saying, no, they're not, Jim, because the reality is we can still draft higher than where we place. In fact, it's a strong chance. Yeah, in some places you say, if you finish right around 7 or 6, kind of like where we were with the Spurs last year, and we got bumped out. Well, there's some teams that are in that bottom of the top 10 that are going to jump into the top 5, and it bumps some of the top 5 teams out to the bottom, and they're the teams that really are the ultimate losers in some ways because they were a bottom 5 team, but some of these bottom 10 teams jumped up and bumped them down into the second half of the bottom 10. So you understand what I'm saying? So I think that there's even more chance for where the Raptors are right now in some ways to get the 5th pick or the 4th pick even. That's what happened the year we got Scotty. We had the 7th or 8th best chance in the draft, and we went up in the lottery to 4th and got Scotty that way. So, we don't know. None of this is determined whether it's a fail or a success until the lottery balls are done and we actually see where we are. Then we can kind of gauge it and see, well, this isn't exactly where we wanted to be, or this is fantastic. Look, we could win all those games at the end of the season, and we still have a really good draft position. So I think that that's more likely what's going to happen, honestly, the second part I just said. Yeah. Name is saying you want to build good habits against weaker opposition so things come naturally when things matter. Yes. Yes. Like, seriously, you want to practice losing? Well, you're going to be like the Sixers, and you're going to be in a weird place where you have a fantastic roster and you're still inexplicably losing. I'm just saying. And like we said over and over again, Jamal Shed is getting such valuable time on the court right now in all kinds of situations that in the long term, this may be so good for our team because Jamal's getting these early lessons his rookie year, and he will be fast tracking towards being a very capable guard, no matter what. G's saying, I'm pretty sure we had the seventh worst record the year we got Scotty, the seventh pick. That's what I was just saying. G's saying this. Yeah, I didn't even see that comment. That's exactly right. So we're in the same exact position right now. Seventh worst team in the league. And we got the fourth pick for Scotty that year when that happened before. G's exactly right. I'm going to give him a dunk because, great minds think alike. And him and I are using the same example right here. That's your 10th dunk of the year, G. You're at 30 points now. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Kaz is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Free Crew. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. Hope you're having a good weekend. Not on the road again. It's Saturday. That's right. Nameless is saying, Raptors are clearly already playing for next season, as funny as that may sound. Yeah, they're building into next season. They're building blocks right now to go forward into the next season. They made the overtures that Brandon Ingram might come back soon. There was some sort of post by the Raptors where they showed coming soon, and they had his picture. Like everybody's freaking out. And they're like, oh, did they mean coming soon next year? Or did they mean coming soon this year? I don't know. Either way, I'd love to see. I mean, we have 15 games to go still this season. If Brandon Ingram shows up and plays a couple games at the end of the season and none of this matters with our record, why not? Let's just see him get it over and done with and say, hi, I'm a Raptor. I'm going to play for the Raptors now. Number 3, BIG. That's right. Nameless is saying barbecue needs reps on reps on reps to compensate for the lack of time together due to injury. Exactly. And that's one of the really important development things that are going on right now. It's not just about Shed and Lawson and Robinson and Roden and people like that. It's also about barbecue sharing time on the court and building up their chemistry and doing what they did last night. I feel like last night was an important night because it is a showcase night of what is going to be possible with barbecue in the future. There's a certain level of high-level chemistry, high-level talent between Rowan Barrett Jr., Emmanuel Quickley, and Scotty Wayne Barnes. Those 3 guys have a really interesting skill sets each individually, and the way they fit together with their talent and the ability to do things off each other is really, really fun because they're using the utmost amazing talent they have and enhancing it off of each other, and amazing things are happening. Whether it's Emmanuel's skill set, going to Scotty's skill set, or RJ's passing, his skill set, it's all working real well together. And the bond, like I said, between Scotty and RJ is very strong. You can see it on the court. Scott has a lot of respect for RJ, and he really does enjoy RJ being the leading scorer this year, I think, because look, one play Scotty got out of the lane for RJ, who was driving down the lane. He said he saw RJ coming. He stepped to the side and let RJ come right through and lay up the ball. And he had a big smile on his face afterwards. So all the tells are there that barbecue is going to be sizzling, cooking and sizzling next year. Going to be sizzling. That's right. Nameless is saying top 5 finish next season, guaranteed. 37-30 for top 6 right now. The East is ripe for the picking. Top 5 in the East is what you're saying. Yeah, I said in the last couple of days, the Raptors will be a home court team in the playoffs next year. I really do believe this. God willing, we have health, no injuries for the most part, and we are able to continue to build in the pace and the way we're going right now. We will be a top team in the Eastern Conference next year, and this rebuild will be one of the shortest rebuilds in the history of the NBA, much to the chagrin of the other teams. That's right. Let's go. Fiercey's here. Good to see MJ. Good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Great win and contributions from all. RJ's defense. Whoop. And love his aggressiveness at the rim. IQ hitting the too small, too. Yeah, IQ did the too small at one point. Yeah, it's a fantastic game of balance. That's the other thing that I really loved about it. People are wondering about how are we going to get along with everybody all added in the mix. Well, they take turns. They're very unselfish. And they look out for each other, and they do things for each other in great ways. And you see that balance. And when it's like that, when there's no selfishness, you got a couple of different guys getting 20 points. You got a guy like AJ Lawson coming off the bench and get 18. Wow, barbecue's all cooking all three of them themselves. What's not to like? Brandon Ingram can figure out in this equation when he's healthy and on the Raptors. Yeah, he can fit into this unselfishness and this balance. I think that's a key word for last night. The Raptors had a very balanced attack from a lot of different people contributing at a high level. And that's part of the reason why we beat the Jazz last night. That is a big part of it right there. Jimmy's saying, and the fact we're helping Philly potentially keep their pick pisses me off. Fuck Philly. Yeah, but I went over this also this week, Jimmy. I don't know if you're here. This is good. In some ways, we want Philly to keep their pick because if they don't keep their pick, where does their pick go? It goes to Oklahoma City. And in some ways, does Oklahoma City need to be richer and getting a very high level pick, like in the top 10? No. So in some ways, it's necessary evil. Now, I would say this. Remember, once again, Jimmy, what's the track record of the Sixers with top 10 draft picks over the last decade? Yeah. So I wouldn't be afraid of this. Let the Sixers pick their pick in the top 6 and let them fumble it like they always do. So I'm not worried about this. And even if they get a top pick, Sixers fans are going to feel like this and this. The Sixers are cooked either way because Embiid is done, bro. I'm telling you right now. Embiid is going to be in the way of them winning no matter what because he's absolutely essential, but he is not going to be healthy no matter what. And we don't need to worry about this. I know you have a grudge against them and you don't like them. I'm with you. But this is why we shouldn't worry about this. In some ways, you want one of the best teams in the league to get a top 10 pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Think about how much they would be benefiting from that. And we know Sam Presti's going to pick that pick better than the Sixers and Daryl Morey will. So I would say look at it that way. Even if it's like this kind of thing where it's like, oh, you feel like we're helping the Sixers keep their pick. Well, so be it. Let them keep their pick and let them fumble it is what I'm saying right now. And that'll be fun for us. We can come around in 6 months, a year from now, Jimmy, and we can say, yeah, look at what the Sixers did with their pick when they saved it and laugh about it. Seriously. I could see that. Fiercely saying barbecue was indeed sizzling. Sizzling, such a cool word. Let's go look at the team stats just for fun. The team stats, I'll give some shine to somebody on the other side real quick. Clarkson off the bench was a factor. They were giving him touch fouls like he was LeBron, which is annoying the hell out of me. 7 trips to the line for Clarkson, 5 of 9 from the field, 19 points for him off the bench. Yeah, he's a talent. He is a talent, and he was doing stuff out there. Markkanen wasn't out there for long. He got 16, though, while he was out there. And, they weren't trying to win. But you know what? We did our job, and we got it done. Team stats were interesting. We shot way better than them, 48% to 44% for them. The three-pointers, they outshot us there, 42% from 3 with 16, and we only got 12. The free throws, we got the line a lot because we were aggressive. Begrudgingly, they put us on the line. They didn't call half the calls they probably should have, but we were so aggressive and going the lane, and they were fouling us that we did get 4 more free throw attempts than the other team, and we made 2 more, 74% at the free throw line. The Raptors were missing at the free throw line a lot. At one point, Trevor said, we're missing too many free throws. And I was like, yeah, we are. And in some ways, it's like, but I don't care because this game, in some ways, it's like, all right, we win or we lose. We're happy either way. So when there's no pressure, when I see these guys up at the free throw line and they're missing free throws, I'm not as mad at them. But I do want them to build good habits. But if they're going to have some games where they're going to miss free throws, might as well be a game like the game last night. We still won. 51 rebounds. We absolutely dominate the boards right now. And it really is, I think, partly having the double center lineup with Castleton and O-Rob out there at times. We're just more dedicated to it. And once again, I'll say this. This is maybe part of the reason why Chris isn't as important or valid right now is his strength is offensive rebounding, and everybody's doing the offensive rebounding right now. So 51 rebounds for the Raptors to 35 rebounds for the Jazz. We got 28 assists, and Darko was very happy about that after the game. Also, we limited our turnovers to 15. The other team had 17. Fast break points, 27 for the Raptors. Those were off the turnovers on them. And then 64 points in the paint. The Raptors just dominating down low, dominating the paint points and the rebounds. And I love that. I love that so much. So good job on the team stats, Raptors. Good job. That's right. Fiercely saying, I watched the post-game presser from Will Hardy. He gave us props on being disruptive and also said we are a physical team who attacks the paint a lot. Yeah, yeah, we're aggressive. We get after it and we work hard. And that's the thing. Even if teams are trying to tank and lose right now, they may not be working as hard, and we are working hard. And that's a habit we want to encourage and continue to do. And that's what we are doing. 6 out of the last 7 games we've won. And then some people will be like, why? Why are we doing this? Because honestly, these are wins we were owed, and we should have won earlier in the season that just are all condensed in this part of the season. It sucks. I get it. But in some ways, it is what it is. The NBA schedule is just how it is. Nameless to say, I would like to keep Orlando Robinson as well. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. I think that if he likes it and the money's right, he's back next year. I think he's back next year. Mike's here. Good to see Logical Raptors Fanatic. He's been on fire on his channel recently. So many good clips. That one on Sam Presti and the waste of the picks with the Oklahoma City Thunder is amazing. Mike, amazing. That may be the thing that would be funny if the Sixers do lose their pick somehow, some way, and all of a sudden Oklahoma City is picking and they waste that pick anyway. That could be a factor, I guess. He's saying, been watching your salary cap logic is on point. You get the new CBA and how you need to not waste money. Yeah, everything matters. That's why somebody like Bradley Beal is so hated in Phoenix, because that money is held up and he's got a no trade clause. And he's saying, like, I don't care. I'm living my life. I'm happy. I work in the NBA and I have a no trade clause. So ha ha ha, fuck all y'all. Yeah, but you're also screwing up the Suns from being able to be competitive because of that particular situation. But yeah, you can't have waste. You have to really maximize your salary and hope that your players are staying as healthy as possible, because they need to be out there for you to really maximize your salary. That's right. Trevor's saying, what's going to happen to Castleton? 10-day ran out. Will he get another one? I would think so. You know, I was on the fence about it the first couple games because it's like, man, he's awkward. He seems kind of sheepish. He's not aggressive enough. He's getting pushed around, but he's coming along really quickly. And I think some of it that I like is the chemistry between him and people like Quickly, where he got a sudden pass to him and he just put it in the basket real quick. So he's starting to understand our players a little bit better, and he's meshing with them better. And it looks better because in some ways his offense did not look good the first couple games. But now that he's getting more comfortable and he's understanding his teammates better, he's more successful with converting his baskets. And I'm all about it. I mean, he seems like a real aggressive kind of like learner guy. And like I said earlier, I'd love to see him on a two-way for us next year so he can help both our teams next year. In fact, we should do the 905 setup right now, because we're going to play them at 2 o'clock. We're playing Windy City Bulls at Paramount Fine Food Center. I'll be in the YouTube chat if you want to talk to me during the game. It's a 2 p.m. tip-off. So we got a game in 4 hours, guys. And this is the team we're playing. Windy City Bulls has Ryan Arcidiacono, who's the former Villanova player that was on the Knicks, Taylor Braun, Ben Cuppett, TK Idoji, Eric Gaines, Jordan Jackson, EJ Liddell, David Muaka, Mike Miles, Emmanuel Miller, and Jameer Young, and our good friend JFL. Yes, that's right. Javon Freeman Liberty will be playing the 905 at 2 o'clock for the Windy City Bulls, his hometown team, against the 905. Jared Roden is with the 905 along with Eugenio Marui, and they have a new player too. We got a new player this week on 905 that I forgot to talk about. His name's DJ something. Let me just go look at it. It's on Blake's Blue Skies. What is the name of the player that they just got on 905? It's way down here, I'm sure. DJ Jeffries. DJ Jeffries has been added from the player pool to 905, so we have a new player. I haven't really looked at him. And also Frank Kaminsky has missed the games, and it is official. Frank Kaminsky has been removed from the 905 roster. Nothing officially said, but also they found out recently, Blake found out, not only does he have knee injuries, but he recently announced that him and his wife are expecting. So that may be part of the reason why Frank Kaminsky has left the 905. But either way, DJ Jeffries is the latest new player that's joining the team with Lacey and Loudon and those guys. So, yeah, the referees for the game today with the 905 and the Windy City Bulls. Pat O'Connell is the crew chief, number 73. Sarah Williams is the referee, number 20. And Rachel Rayford is the umpire, number 44. That is a 2 o'clock start at Paramount Fine Food Center. So get down there if you want to go to the game in person. and watch the game. Yeah, Jared Roden will be playing for them, and we should see him showcased and hopefully get a big score for the team. And hopefully they can snap their losing streak this afternoon with Jared Roden back and feeling good from playing on the Raptors. Yeah, Mike's saying Temple knows all the roles and positions and can help call out things on court. Chris Boucher isn't knowing everything in the guard role. Boucher is a winning player and gets more burn next year. I really hope that Chris is still on our team next year. I really, really do. Because honestly, I just love the guy, and I feel like he should be on our team. It's so ambiguous and weird. But remember, this is exactly how it was last year, too, at this time with Chris. He was getting DMPs at this time last year also, inexplicably. And everybody's like, what the hell is going on here? And he's still on the team. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. I value both those guys. Did Garrett Temple, we had the question this week, Mike, and I'd wonder what you would say. Do you think Garrett Temple is going to be back on our team next year on a veteran minimum in some sort of form? Maybe. He wants to extend his career as long as he can, I'm sure. So we'll have to see. Kaloy's here. Good to see Kaloy. Morning, Lex and fellow freaks. Hey, Lex, do you think Rodgers will buy out Larry next year? Yeah, this is the thing that Winters put in his thing yesterday, and it's got Raptors Reddit and a couple other people thinking about all this. Now, all right, there's a couple of different ways to look at this. Larry Tannenbaum is an asset for the MLSE and the Raptors. He is an important person for Board of Governors with both the NHL and the NBA. So in some ways, he is a good political person to have in the Raptors organization and MLSE overall because he has connections. He has a lot of respect and he has power, not only with MLSE, but with the NHL and the NBA because of his work as being a governor. So I don't know. I could see Ed Rodgers looking at Tannenbaum and saying, you know what, I don't want to outright buy you out because in some ways I want you to be around to do some of the stuff that you've been doing already if you want to continue to do it. And I'm pretty sure Larry would want to continue to do it because he doesn't feel like he's old. That's the crazy thing. A lot of these arrangements were made because Larry Tannenbaum's getting older. They were like, okay, well, you'll be this age by then. You'll be 80. And in some ways, like, should you really be doing this stuff? But Larry in real life is feeling great. His health is fine. He feels fantastic. And he doesn't feel like he needs to step down, even though they made an arbitrary deadline for him to do this stuff years ago, just because he would be this age at this point. In some ways, he's like, I feel great at 80, and I want to continue to run things around this team. There may be a lot of value in having him still around as a minority owner involved in doing stuff like the NBA governor stuff. We'll have to see, but it could very well be Rodgers just wants him out and he totally is going to change everything. And there is a lot of worries and fears about this. In some ways, this is part of the reason why Masai and Bobby right now are doing this rebuild so quickly. And also, it's part of the reason why they're getting things locked down like Brandon Ingram early now, because they want to ensure that the future of the Raptors is going to be good no matter what happens with the ownership. So we'll have to see what happens. Anything could happen. In some ways, Ed Rodgers has been better with Masai in recent years, and they do see the value of them and Bobby and Masai being on this team. But also at the same time, Ed has also said at times, why do we need both of them? We'll have to see, Mike. We just got to keep our fingers crossed and hope that best things for the Raptors continue to happen. But it is scary because we know Ed Rodgers is the owner of the Blue Jays, has not completely done things correctly. And a lot of it is because he put in bad people for management. And we don't want to switch our management for the Raptors for bad people, obviously, because we have good people in those jobs right now. So that's what I'm thinking about this, Kaloy, right there. Fiercely saying was a bit sad in reference to Davion leaving, but I now get it. Shed was the logical choice for our backup point guard. And yes, Castleton is slowly getting accustomed to the team. He's doing good. Robinson also solid. Well, Shed was a draft pick, and Davion was a free agent, kind of just sign on for a little while. And in some ways, Davion, like I said, would have been around if Shed wasn't being so capable already. Like he might have been still around for that. So it's just totally different kind of players. Shed was always the plan to get the spot. It's just how fast was he going to come along? He came along really fast. So Davion became more easily, traded out after that. And this was housekeeping for this summer as far as the roster salary. With Davion, you don't have to make this decision now because he's in Miami. And we were going to have to think about keeping him on and signing him to a new contract this summer. But yeah, it's not going to happen now at this point. Castleton getting accustomed is fantastic. Yeah. And Robinson has been very solid for sure. Nameless saying, bro, I don't need to see Chris Boucher. I know what he's capable of. More rookies, please. I can see that, but I'm just saying, just to be nice, the man hasn't played for 7 games or 8 games now. And in some ways, Chris had a really good stretch in January where he was like the best player on our team for 3 games in a row, and we were winning. And he's just been such a good guy. I feel like he deserves to get to play in his old college alma mater in Portland. And in some ways, Darko, just do this for nice sentimentality. In some ways, you've done nice things for AJ, letting him start in front of the hometown crowd. Roden, Castleton have gotten their first NBA career starts. Let's be nice to Chris and let him play in front of Portland's crowd in Oregon, a place where they really love and appreciate him. How about that? Give the fans what they want. Give Chris what he wants. That's what I'm saying. Now, if he doesn't do it, I'm not going to get upset and mad about it. But also at the same time, I wish you would strongly consider doing it, Darko. Seriously. Seriously. Let's see. Nameless is also saying Darko is definitely doing better than anybody else could. Doing it better. Yeah. I mean, we could have had Jordy doing this job, and maybe it would be similar in some ways, but not exactly. I think the extra special thing about Darko Rajakovic is that it's just his personality. And you see it in the chain ceremonies when he runs into the room and he goes, "We did it!" And he's like yelling and screaming and his excitement. He just really instills a good positive energy around our team. And he's just such a giver. And like he really is genuine and cares about his players so deeply that is part of the reason why they'll run through a wall for him. So he's just like, he's the right kind of coach. And I think that those extra special attributes about him are unique. This isn't not in every single coach out there that is so giving of his time and his care about the players, all of them, all the time. You know, Nick would shut himself off from the players when it was off hours and didn't want to really be disturbed. But Darko, they could probably call him at 3 in the morning. You know, this is the kind of coach that, like, if you're in trouble, there's something going on, he's going to be there for you at any moment of the day, 24/7, 7 days a week. So there's a lot about him that's special. And I don't know if there's any single head coach in this league right now that has the same kind of vibe building that he has. And that's why I'm glad he's our coach, is what I'm saying. Smith's saying O'Shea Brissett gets a 10-day with the Sixers. Okay. That's crazy. I mean, I'm glad Brissett's back in the league and he's getting another chance. Of course, Nick Nurse knows O'Shea Brissett from his time with the Raptors. And, well, we'll just have to see how this goes for him. I mean, the Sixers are in that place where they're at. It's not like they're trying to do anything with their winning or anything like that right now. Neil's here. Good to see Blackhawk. NBA just needs to discourage having less than 20 wins to fix tanking. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. You know, like we said the other day, maybe you take away ping pong balls if you don't get to certain levels. You know, I like kind of the idea that if you're in the bottom 10, whichever teams have the best record gets the top pick. So it's like, don't slum all the way down the bottom. But people could manipulate that too and be like, oh, well, we want the top pick. We're going to just try and keep it in a certain place. They may be trying to lose anyway to keep in the right spot to get the top pick if they're the very best bottom team out of the bottom 10. You know what I'm saying? I like the idea of a flat percentage for the bottom 10. Like everybody just gets the exact same chance for the first pick. And the chances are all the way down from the bottom 10 all the way. So it doesn't encourage people to really, really bottom out and absolutely try to lose as much as they're doing right now. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would say about that. Let's see. Smooth saying, I expect the Raptors to lose the next 3 games. Portland, Suns, and Warriors all have something to play for. The Trailblazers in some ways don't, but do, I guess. I don't know. We have not seen them yet this year, which is so weird. Like they were talking about this on the broadcast, how we got all the games of the Lakers and the Nuggets out of the way right at the beginning of the season. And then there's some West Coast teams like the Spurs and the Blazers that we have not seen yet. And we're going to see now. We just saw the Jazz finally for the first 2 games. Yeah, it's crazy. In some ways, it's like, all right, I can see why you think we're going to lose Warriors and Suns. Yeah, I could see why you think that. This is the second night of a back-to-back, and the Suns have a very talented team, even if they're not playing well together. And the Warriors are on an upswing, and we probably will lose the Golden State game. But I don't know about this Portland game. I have a feeling that we might figure out a way to win it. But we'll see, Reggie. You might be right. And I don't mind losing these 3 games. I was okay with losing all the games on this road trip, honestly. Mike's saying the NBA sort of has even odds for the top 5. It's more likely to go 1 through 5 if you have the worst record. So you don't think they should do it with the top 10, like give it all even that way. Guess you're right. Maybe they could do even on both, but they're even in different tiers. There's the bottom 5 even for a top pick, and then the 5 through 10 has the same odds also. So there's no weird losing manipulation in that round too. And those 10 too. Maybe there's 2 tiers and they all have the same percentage in those 2 tiers respectively, because there is a lot of manipulation. Now, maybe there'd be a manipulation though between jumping between the bottom tier and the top tier, to tank out of the top tier of the bottom 10 to get into the bottom tier so that they have a first round pick. I don't know. There's always going to be some sort of weird wonkiness. You just want to minimize it. You want to minimize it. And, there's systems that would be much worse for inducing more tanking. And there probably are systems that would be better that would reduce the tanking. And that's what we're trying to get to here in the NBA. That's right. Mike's saying the Pistons know how it works. Laugh out loud. Worst record, drafting 5th. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had the worst record last year, and they didn't get the first pick. No, they had to pick 5th out of the whole draft. But you know what? They're a playoff team this year, and they're looking real good right now. I love what they're doing right now. I am rooting for the Pistons this offseason. Seriously. What's not to like? Dennis Schroeder is one of my favorite players. And in some ways, I like the story that the Pistons have built this year. They're a likable Pistons team, too. They're not like the champion Pistons with Chauncey and Rip Hamilton, those guys. I didn't like those guys. I like the bad boys, and I like the current Pistons. I think they're a cool team with Beef Stew and Dennis Schroeder and Tobias Harris and Cade Cunningham. That's actually a team I could root for in these playoffs, and I want to see them make some noise. That's right. Kaloy saying the young Raptors taking pride in their defense. We the defense. That's right. They're being raised right in the right way to do the right things. That's right. Nameless saying, I would love to see BI this year. Love, love, love. It'd be fun. It'd be fun. The dude's so smiley and he's so happy. You can tell he's just reveling in being a Raptor. It means something. And it's so cool to see somebody just light up and be so happy being on our team. And he hasn't even started playing. Brandon is a real one. And I can tell it's going to be awesome to see his career with the Raptors. He's going to be really, really good, guys. And I can't wait to see it. Jimmy's saying number 1 pick is a long shot, but we lost 10% off our chance of a top 4 pick by getting 2 wins ahead of Philly. I just want us to take advantage of this crap year. Went from 40% to 30%. Well, I mean, it's all perspective. Everybody feels like if you're at the bottom of the league, you need to just get a good draft pick. You deserve it. And you will. You get a good draft pick. But it's like, what's worth more is what you got to ask yourself, Jimmy. Is it worth more the percentage points on a ping pong ball or the development of people like Jamal Shed and AJ Lawson and Orlando Robinson? I would say it's the development of the guys we already have, because the ping pong ball is chance already. And then the guy we draft is chance on whether they're going to be a bust or not. More likely not, they're not going to be a bust. But I'm just saying, there's nothing guaranteed from the draft. It's all unknown. And people put so much weight into the unknown being so much more important than the known, which is what's happening on the court. That's what I say to this. I mean, it's all relative, and percentages are percentages. They're always going to be there. And some of them are just, I get it. If you really want to game your chances and you really want to look at this and do Rain Man stuff, I get it. But in some ways also, you got to balance the other side of things, the known with the unknown. And the known is we're knowing we are developing our young players by what we're doing right now. And it's unknown what the ping pong ball is going to bounce. And it's unknown, what's going to happen with Philly's pick or our pick. And hopefully it'll be Common Malak. I'm seeing more and more mock drafts putting the Raptors with Common Malak. And that's what I want to see. I've officially figured out my top 3 people that I want the Raptors to draft. Common Malak's number 1. Derek Queen is 2nd. And Asa Newell is 3rd. Those are my 3 top picks for the Raptors to choose in the top 10. Those are the 3 guys I want them to look at. Is Malak, 7'2" center for Duke. Is Derek Queen, 6'10" forward for Maryland, I believe. And then Georgia Bulldog, Asa Newell is the other guy. Yeah, those are my guys that I like right now. Those are my 3 top picks. Let's see. Smooth saying there's no need to play Ingram. We'll wait till next year. Well, we'll see. They'll decide that. I could see them doing it though, just for fun. Why not? Why not get him out there just for 1 game or 2 games? I understand why you're saying there's no need, and you're right. But we'll have to see. Maybe they will do it just for fun. Nameless is saying, I'd rather see him get the growing pains and build chemistry this season when it doesn't matter, rather than him struggle to find his place next year. So that's why it matters to me. I can see the argument of Nameless, but I'd also make the argument that training camp could be this place where this happens also without any pressure. That, the way the Raptors did offseason last year, it could very well be that Brandon's doing 3 training camps from June into the season, and he's playing a lot with the team in the summer, getting ready, and he will be fine with them without even playing this season. So I could see it going that way also. But I agree with you, Nameless. It's important for him to start building the chemistry and understanding the practice and not just the theory of what he might be doing in this Raptors Darko offensive system. And I want to see it. I'm just anxious to see it. That's right. You're concerned about him getting hurt. And I understand that, Reggie. And well, Dr. Alex and them are going to measure and make sure that things are done right so that, Brandon is protected from this. And I know that they're not going to make any rash decisions or rush him out. They may have already done that if they really wanted to rush him out, and that might have been a problem. So yeah, I really trust them on this. Carmen's here. Good, Carmen Byfield. Good to see you in the chat. We do a Raptor Freak channel every morning at 9:30, talking about the daily Raptor stuff, and we're reacting to the Jazz game last night. Tomorrow, I'll do a preview for the Portland game in the morning. Yeah, so good to see you. The only way BI is playing is if he's 100%, and I agree with this. I agree with this sentiment and the concerns that Reggie has also. That there's no reason to rush him out there, and unless he's absolutely 100%, he will appear this year. I think you're exactly right, Carmen. Mike's saying Scotty is doing Lowry already. We just need another guy to pop. That's what Masai said, basically. To pop, to pop. What if Brandon's that guy? I mean, I'm telling you, in some ways, I'm not even. That's part of the reason why I don't worry about this draft is because I know Brandon's going to be such an add-on that it's going to push us up. Like really, really well. And once again, I say this over and over again. I don't feel like people really understand just how much you can move up the standings because you have young players that come back every year getting better. And those young players are people like Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed, Jonathan Mobo, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. I mean, just look at the list of names, and they're all under 25, and they're all going to get better. So there's an aggregate accumulation of all the players we already have on our team getting better next year, adding to us winning more and being higher in the standings. And I think that people just easily look over that. And they don't understand. Like maybe other teams are spinning wheels with young players because they don't have a good development coach. They don't have a good program and a franchise that really is a right environment or atmosphere for development to happen in a very good, conducive way. We have this. And this is what I'm saying. In some ways, we've got like 10 guys on our team that could all make leaps. And all of a sudden, we are a championship caliber team and winning a championship again in the next 2 or 3 years. I'm just saying, this is without the draft pick we even got right now. Just with the guys we have on paper, locked down in the near future right now with Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Jakob Poeltl, all those guys. I mean, Poeltl got better this year. Seriously, there's 9 years of Poeltl, and Darko Rajakovic got Jakob Poeltl to play his very best career year this year. Same thing for Boucher, honestly, on the download. Chris Boucher had his greatest professional career year this year under Darko. So this is what I'm saying. He can get development out of guys who've been in this league for almost 10 years. He's going to develop the hell out of the youngsters, and they're going to get better and better too. And he is a big part of it. Darko is a big, big part of it. Right there is what I'm saying. It's going to be awesome, man. And then you add somebody like Malak, who just helps strengthen our front court and our size and our shot blocking and rim protection. Oh, come on now. Come on now. You can see what I see right there. That's right. Fiercely saying Denver barely beat the Lakers without LeBron and Luka. Not good. I watched the final minutes and Koloko played. Still same foul calls as with us. Sadly, no development whatsoever. Laker Nation said Alex Lynn is trash. There's a lot in there, MJ. I love it. Man, I don't like to hear that Denver just barely beat them without LeBron and Luca, but that's the way the NBA is, and they still got the dub, right? Just win. That's all that matters. Coloco, well, this is what you get. You want to go play with LeBron. LeBron and the Lakers need you so bad. You're going to finagle your way out of Toronto somehow, some way. Well, you're not going to get that same development that your friend Shamshay is going to get now. Seriously, that's the whole thing. In some ways, Ulrich Shamshay being in the Raptors organization is so good for him because other organizations would drop the ball with him. Trust me. So, Ulrich, you should be very happy as a 19-year-old that you're on the Raptors because we're going to take care of you right, and you're going to get to the best, highest level of ability for your game under Darko and the Raptors organization. Seriously. Alex Len's trash? Oh, I knew this. I've known this for a while. I've known this for about 4 years. Mike's saying the Nuggets are classic playing to your competition. They're in the second seed at the moment. The Lakers are fifth. So, yeah, Lakers fans were talking crazy when they were the second seed. Lakers fans are always going to talk a little bigger and badder than they are. And that's just how they are. That's just their DNA. And, well, they're a little delusional. They are for sure. And they're very delusional right now, partly just because of Luka's presence. And they feel like they're going to get the championship just because Luka showed up. They're delusional. Let's just put it that way. They're delusional. Jimmy's saying, if you're picking top 5, you can't blunder this draft. It's that good. Interesting. So you really feel like that? I don't totally agree with this, though, because I don't totally trust Ace Bailey. I don't totally trust Dylan Harper. I'm serious. And even Cooper Flagg, I feel like he's overhyped. And I have no idea if VJ Edgecombe is really that good, honestly. Really, really don't. So I don't know, man. It feels like that every year, right? There's like, oh, maybe not every year. But, you can think about the Victor draft with Scoot. Look at Scoot. Scoot wasn't jack shit. And they were talking him up so much. That's what I'm saying. There's so much hype about draft picks these years is people just overanalyze it and talk about it. And you hear the name over and over again. Every time you hear the name Cooper Flagg, it makes you feel like, oh, he must be good because I keep hearing his name. And there's an inflation of actually how good these players are before they even come in the league just because you've heard their name over and over again. I don't know. I don't trust drafts anymore. I don't trust the way players come up anymore. People are saying this stuff, but I don't believe it. If I see these guys all come in next year and they're all trying to be all-stars in their first year, then I'll be like, wow, that is actually what we're talking about. These guys are all real all-stars. But I don't see this. You think that any of those 5 guys are going to be an all-star the next year in the NBA? That's the kind of level of talent I'm talking about. That's the LeBron stuff. That's the Victor stuff. That's the Shaquille O'Neal stuff. And I don't see it. None of those 5 guys are going to be an all-star next year. And if you really want to say monumental game-shifting talent, first-year all-stars as a rookie is that kind of stuff. I don't know. You say it's that good, but I don't know. I don't trust it. In some ways, we'll see what happens. And next year, we'll revisit this. And I'll be like, maybe I was like, damn, Jimmy, you were right. The top 5 of this draft is really good. Ace Bailey's fantastic. Dylan Harper is as good as we thought. Mike saying Boucher has a pocket full of sunshine because he was told that we will try to fit him in no matter what. Temple is not back probably, making him an assistant. Interesting. So you think that Garrett Temple might be an assistant next year? We'll have to see. He has so many options in his life. Such a talented, amazing, smart person that could do whatever. He could be a lawyer. He could be in the Players Association as a rep. He could be a broadcaster. He could be a coach. He could do any of it, honestly. Garrett Temple is all multi-talented person. He can do whatever he wants after his playing career. He's going to have very, very many options. Very, very many options. I love that you're saying that you think that Boucher's already knows what's going to happen and he's cool on the down low. And that's why in some ways he's quietly confident, even though he's getting DMPs, that everything's going to be working out all right. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Mike. I really do. Mike's saying that the only way Temple and Boucher stay is if we draft a backup center ready to go. We can fill 14th through 15th spot on Boucher and Temple. At the moment, we need a backup center as a 14th spot with 11 signed guys, 2 picks. Mike really does have the up-to-date roster stuff, just like Blake Murphy, Samson Folk kind of guy. And that's what he's saying. This is how it would fit and work. And if we draft that backup center, there you go. We've got it all fit in and locked with who we pretty much have next year. And there's not even going to be really much free agency action for the Raptors this summer. In some ways, it may be just Chris. and Temple, and boom, that's it. Because we got Brandon and we just get draft pick, and that's it. There's not really any need to go and try and get free agents or anything like that because we already got what it is. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I skipped your comment in reference to Chris and Garrett. Agreed, logical. Temple won't return. He gets lots of playing time, kind of like a swan song of his final year. I may be reaching, though. I'm not totally sure if that's true. Let me see where the comment is with Fiercey that I missed. Okay, yeah, this is the one. Okay, it was after the Will Hardy comment. I'm okay with Chris not playing for now as we know what he brings, but I have a feeling it's Temple's final season with us. He gets a lot of playing time, but I like his game and energy. Well, I'm you know what? I'm not willing to say either way what's happening because honestly, we don't know. We don't know. I thought that Garrett might be gone last season. I didn't think he'd come back this year. So I'm not going to say whether Garrett's going to be back or not because we may be very shocked that he comes back on a very, very low veteran minimum. And he's like, yeah, I don't mind doing what I'm doing with the Raptors. I've really enjoyed it the last 2 years. It's been very fulfilling to be a older mentor on this young team with Darko. Chris is the weird one. That's the one. And that's the one that is the most that could be manipulated by other moves we do, including drafting too high in the draft. As Mike has said, if we have a certain level of draft pick in the top 5, we got to say adios to Chris Boucher because he won't be able to fit in the cap because of the scale of the rookie's contract being a top 5 pick. It's going to force the money in a weird way where we don't have enough to retain Chris. So that's part of the reason why I'm not about getting a top 5 pick right now is because I'd love to have Chris on the team next year. And some people say, well, what are you talking about? I'd rather have a top 5 pick. Like Jimmy's saying, well, I'd kind of like to have Chris and have a top pick, but can be from 6 to 10. And then we can afford Chris maybe possibly still. When we get up in the top 3, top 4, it's going to be really hard for us to retain Boucher in the offseason is what I'm saying. Let's see. Smooth saying at Fiercey, they're not wrong. And Mike saying, MJ, you're right, in my opinion. He's getting time because they know he's done, probably. Temple, you're saying they're going to give him a swan song? He just had another baby, and maybe it's time for a dad to go home and help take care of the baby next year. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to expect anything because I expected this last year, like what y'all are saying, and he came back. And that was awesome. I was really happy when he came back. Reggie's saying Alex Len is a below average 5. Only reason he's sticking around is that is a lottery pick. Alex Len. Yeah. Well, the Lakers didn't have a whole lot of choices as far as like who to come in and take over once they traded Davis. And like even their own guys like Christian Wood haven't been available. They haven't been healthy. So there's a couple of things here. Yeah. He's a lottery pick. Alex Len was crazy. MJ saying at Smooth, I read someone say every time Len gets on the court, it's as if it's his first time playing and he lets everyone blow by him. Well, he's not a very fast player. He can get blown by. The things that I liked about Len when he was on our team, I thought he was better than Baines, by the way, that season in Tampa. Len was a very good defender. Like he was a pretty good defender, like just straight up. In some ways, him and O Robert similar in some ways, like very physical and strong and good in the paint with trying to get rebounds and just being a big body. But there's a lot of other stuff that, Len is not totally good at. That's for sure. That's right. Mike saying Siakam got suspended because he wanted Nick to tell Alex Len to not let guys blow by. You're talking about old stuff from Tampa. Yeah. Fiercely saying, Lex, I believe Will Hardy is also a good coach in terms of being a motivator. I don't see that. The Jazz broadcast showed him comforting Sexton as he had a rough night last night. It was honestly nice to watch. Yeah, I don't see that. I mean, if he's such a good motivator, why isn't his team play better? Seriously, they're a young team, and they make a lot of mistakes. And I would say, look at our team. We had a very young team this year, too. We started some of the youngest lineups ever, and we did not have this kind of incompetence that the Jazz have. The Jazz are horrible at taking care of the ball. They play undisciplined. They play unruly. They play wild. And, well, I would argue, yeah, maybe Will Hardy's a nice guy, like you're saying, but I would not compare him to Darko with the development or getting his team with the right culture, because the Utah Jazz have been horrible this year. And you can't give him this credit. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you on him being a good coach right now, because honestly, in the 3 years he's coached Utah, what the hell have they done? They've been at the bottom of the league every single year. And at some point, what has he built in the 3 years he's been there to be at this point and losing like this? The Raptors, at least in Darko's 2 years, have built something we can see right in front of us that's very tangible and very promising. In some ways, if I was a Jazz fan, I would be worried, because like some of it's too chaotic and some of it just doesn't make sense. And in some ways, they're not doing things right on their team. I can tell they're not. Fiercely saying Siakam knew what time it was, and here we are years later, same type of performance from Len. Wow. Well, you can't really, in some ways, it's the players' capabilities. They're limited. Alex Len's probably playing to his best of ability, but he's just a slow player. He's just not a very quick-footed person, and it's never going to change. It's not like he can get faster in certain ways. It's just going to be that way. So that's a big part of that right there. And Siakam, I love that he had a certain level of excellence. And that whole period of time with him and Nick were at odds was very weird. It was very weird. And there was a real beef between Nick Nurse and Pascal at that time. There really was. Let's see. Smooth saying Jaden Ivey is back next year, though. Don't know if Dennis sticks with Detroit. Well, either way, he's going to get a playoff run with them at least this year, even if Jaden Ivey comes back healthy and Dennis is out of the picture. I mean, Dennis is used to this. He's changing his jerseys like he changes his shirts in the morning. It's just how it is for Dennis Schroeder at this point in his career. I just like that he's locked in with them for now. He's contributing very well with them, and he's going to get a postseason run with them, which is much better than what would have happened on the Nets, obviously, if he had stuck there for the whole season. And that little bit of time in the Warriors obviously didn't work out. So I'm happy for Dennis. And even if he just plays the rest of the season with the Pistons, he's going to get a playoff run with them, at least some playoff games. And we know Dennis, being the World Cup MVP for Germany, he is a big-time player for big-time games, and he could really help them. That's the other thing. If he does really well for them in the postseason, he may be like, we need to keep Dennis around for leadership. And because, wow, did you see what he did in this series against this team in the Eastern Conference playoffs? So I could see that happening too. But I think you might be right that this may be a short time for Dennis, and he's got to get it while he can, while he's there right now. That's right. If Dennis is okay with being a backup point guard, he will be a fit for Detroit. Given his history, that's a big if. It's weird because Dennis in some ways should be a starting point guard in the NBA, but he's not going to get that chance. He should have had it with us. People had a real problem with that in that year with us. And he was really our starting point guard for a while there. He had finally gotten it. He did what an amazing job at World Cup. How can the World Cup the MVP not be a starting point guard in the NBA is how I was asking it. Well, it's just politics sometimes. Sometimes it's fit. Sometimes it's personality. Sometimes it's just that, there's other guys on the team that are younger and there's more invested coming up, like Jaden Ivey. And I think that that's the sad thing for Dennis. It may be that a very fleeting time, or maybe it's always been this way for him. Part-time starter, part-time bench, and that's just what his career is going to be. And, well, it's a good backup to have, because if you are missing Jaden Ivey, you've got a pretty good starting point guard on your bench coming in to fill in for him. So we'll have to see. I think that Dennis, if he likes being in Detroit, he feels the vibe of the team, and he likes it, he will be a backup for them next year. He doesn't have an ego like that. In some ways, I feel like he deserves to be a starter. And Dennis may feel like that deep down inside, but he's not going to make it the end-all be-all, and he's going to be a pissy person because of it. He'll take what he can get, and he'll do his best to try and change it and be the starter. But if he doesn't get it, he'll still be a good soldier, come into the games and do what his coach asks him to do. That's Dennis Schroeder right there. Trevor's saying Portland and the Raptors, good matchup. Portland plays very physical, just like the Raptors. It's going to be a good match, good game to watch. All right, I'll be excited about it. Trailblazers, Raptors tomorrow at Portland. 5:30 p.m. Eastern is the start time, so be ready for another afternoon game tomorrow, guys. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne Strainer. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Can we just enjoy watching our team? What's all this we should lose or we're going to lose? That's sad, Raptor Freaks. I'm happy to see Shed playing smarter and Robinson too. Yeah, I've been carrying this flag all year, just like you, Wayne. Let's just be fans, enjoy the games, and when the Raptors win, celebrate them like they're wins and not be upset. I think that overall, Wayne, the Raptors nation, fan nation, is getting it now, and they're just like, it's fun to see them win. Even if people say we're supposed to be tanking, this is confusing. The press has even given up on this a little bit. They just understand that this schedule is too easy, and the Raptors are clicking too well as a team nucleus and playing too well off of each other to lose right now. And we could play the absolute end of our bench, and we would still win because we are just like that right now. And I called this like a couple weeks ago. I said, guys, we're playing too well, and the schedule's too easy. We are going to win games in March. And lo and behold, we're 6-1, 7 games into March. And honestly, that one should have been a win also because of Jamal Shedd's millisecond, the ball touching his hand. So, yeah, Wayne, I'm with you on this. And you know what? This action's not happening here. I think most everybody here is pretty happy. Jimmy's a little upset because of ping pong balls, just a little bit, but not really. Not really. And I think that most people are just kind of going with the flow. And I mean, I was okay with them losing last night if they were going to lose, but I'm also very happy when the Raptors win because I'm a Raptors fan and I do want them to win. Blackhawks saying, I used to say we have 4 promising rookies. Now it is at least 8. One draft guy can't add up to that. However, whoever we pick will benefit from what we are building. That's why I want it to be a big. We could still fit some more bigs on our team, and it would make sense. In some ways, the other positions are a little more crowded, especially the wings. The wings are very, very crowded with a lot of very good, talented players. RJ, Brandon, Jacoby, Grady. There's a lot of good players in that category for the Raptors right now. So I hope that they just draft a big, and I've named my 3 favorites right there: Malak, Queen, and Newell. Those are the 3 favorites I got right now. Yeah. Smooth saying, I hope Kyle Lowry resigns with the team next year as the vet third guard. I think it's a fit. This occurred to me also this week with Philadelphia coming into town. Serge Ibaka recently reposted his spicy questions from his Are You Hungry Now TV show that he did his with different people. And I watched the interviews with Fred and DeMar in particular. And, DeMar calls Kyle and Kyle answers the phone and DeMar's so happy. And DeMar says that Canadian fans are better than American fans. There's so much real stuff in there. Freddie says he wouldn't trade Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant because he's loyal and he's a real one. There's just so much good feeling vibes on those Serge Ibaka clips. And I was thinking about Lowry too this week. And like them talking about how this is not how he wanted to end his career with what's going on with 76ers this year. And that he probably does need to play next year. And who knows? Maybe this does work. Maybe he would do like a very, very small contract and play for the Raptors again. But who knows? Maybe he won't. I would love that, though. I don't know if it would fit exactly right. Like the money would have to be very much a minimum, and it'd have to be some sort of exception. But maybe he would do it because he does really love Toronto, and he may see the value in coming back and doing that for us. And instead of him doing a one-day contract like he said he would, you would go ahead and just do a regular contract and finish your career with us for 1 year next year. I would love that. It is possible, I would think, but it's going to mean that he's taking a pay cut, and he's really doing it because he loves Toronto and he loves the Raptors. That's it right there. I would love that. I would think it would be a fit too, but he also, you got to realize he would not play a lot. They would not play Shed behind him. He would not be the backup point guard. He'd definitely be the third point guard, and he'd have to be okay with that. And the other thing is, does he fit with what Darko wants to do also? And we got to remember, Kyle is a Knick guy. He still is. He plays for Knick right now. And in some ways, it might be weird for Kyle to come in and work in Darko's system with his cantankerousness and the way Kyle's been. I mean, I know he's older and mature and he's gone past his asshole years when he's younger. But would it be weird for him to work with Darko instead of Nick on the Raptors? Because in some ways, the shorthand and the understanding between Nick Nurse and Kyle Lowry is like they know each other inside out. And there's just looks they can give each other. And that kind of stuff with Darko may not be the same. And it may not be able to be cultivated, partly because Quickly and Shed are going to be taking the minutes, and Kyle may just be on the bench. It could be this. It could be that we switch Temple for Lowry, and Lowry is our Temple next year. That may be how it works. Is that all of a sudden we have a Kyle Lowry playing the Garrett Temple role on our team, and that would fit in some ways. Smooth saying, hang on. Where are we? I jumped ahead. I apologize. Smooth saying he might be willing because the team will be a playoff club, in my opinion. That may be true. That may be very, very true. He may be willing for that reason. Not that he's ring chasing. In some ways, he's just doing his end of his career for longevity and moving up in NBA ranks and stuff. I don't know. Tristan Trey's here. Go Raptors, baby. That's right, Tristan Trey. Great Raptor freak, Tristan Trey. Mike saying Masai did need to stank to build a champion last time. He just needed like 2 all-stars and Lowry commanding culture. We have the Lowry and Scotty, so we just need another guy to pop, Masai said. Well, Brandon Ingram. And I don't like the word pop. Let's just say come in and play at a high level and kick some butt. How about that? Smooth saying Toronto can be what Miami was in Kyle's first year with the Heat. That's why I think a reunion should be considered, strongly considered. I like that. I like that a lot. Reggie. Click saying, good to see Raptor Freak Click, original Raptor Freak from my first year doing this show 3 years ago. Wow. It'll be 4 years in September. I've been doing 4 years straight, every day a stream. Almost to 1,300 in a row, 1,300 days in a row. We're at 1,280 as of today. It's crazy. Click saying we're definitely dropping in the lottery. Yeah, but we don't know. Once again, the lottery is not decided by where you finish in the standings. It's where the ping pong ball comes out. And we could move up and still be like the 5th pick or even the 1st pick. We still have a good percentage to be the 1st pick still. I mean, look at Atlanta getting it last year. So, we'll just have to see. Wayne saying front office should keep Ingram off the court. Front office will get a solid pick no matter the position. For me, this Western swing is about revenge. The Blazers beat us last season. I want to beat down on their ass. I'm with Wayne, and I'm going to give Wayne a dunk because I'm all about this kind of stuff and keeping track and receipts and saying who's beat us. Like the Portland games last year were disappointing, and they were pissing me off. We shouldn't have lost to them last year. That's your 9th dunk of the year, Wayne. You're at 27. Yeah, I'm with him on this. I'm totally with him on this. I want to beat their ass tomorrow, too. I want to beat Delano Banton's ass. That's right. We want to beat Delano's butt. That's right. Neil's saying what we know is this front office has to make room for 2 draft picks or get some trades going. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. They always have a weird way of balancing things and stuff like that. Mike had a good descriptor of this whole situation earlier. We'll have to figure it out. We'll just have to figure out. Bobby's really good at his job. He'll figure it out. Nameless is saying, sorry, Chris, but I'm not willing to choose a particular player over the long-term benefit of the organization. There you go. All right, Nameless. I understand what you're saying. Blackhawk saying Alex was definitely better than Baines. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's why Alex asked to leave because he didn't understand why Baines was starting over him. And then he went to the Washington Wizards immediately after that. Yeah, that was that. I don't blame him for that. I was wanting them to start Len at that point too, but there was probably a pre-existing agreement with Aaron Baines at that time that he would get to start. And so Nick was starting him willy-nilly. And in some ways, I feel like Len was the better player. He should have been starting. I agree with that. Mike saying if the Raptors get the 1st pick, we will be in the 1st apron and be signing like 2 rookie minimums and be in the 1st apron by a couple million. 1st apron is not adding contracts together in trades. See, that's what I'm saying, y'all. We got to think about these aprons. And we got to think about getting into a higher price bracket because in some ways we got the talent on our team already. The draft pick's going to be gravy on top of it all. In some ways we could win without the draft pick, seriously, next year. I don't think the draft pick's essential for the Raptors to be a playoff team next year. I think we are a playoff team with who we've got right now without even knowing who we're going to draft this summer. So that's what I'm saying. In some ways it could really backfire if we are in the top 5 with our cap in the apron. Like Mike is saying here. Neil's saying Will Hardy is following his front office direction to the letter. There's no way you only play Markkanen for 18 minutes if you want to win. Well, my point about Will Hardy's coaching when I was talking to Fiercey about it is that the team's disorganized and it just doesn't seem like they're playing right. Seriously, they're careless with the ball. They don't play fundamentally well. And that's what I'm judging coaches on. We could have a bad record and look like we do, but look at the way our team plays together and organized. And the Jazz are not like that. The Sixers are not like that. The Magic are not like that. A lot of teams we've seen recently that have been bad are not like that. But we are, as one of the bottom 10 teams, we are playing at a high level and we play together like a top team does, like a Cavs, like a Thunder. And that's the thing that's good about what we're doing right now is that we're not slumming down just because of our position and the draft considerations. We're playing at a high level in the right way, even if we're not playing with our very best players completely the full game. And that's the thing right there. That's it. That's it right there. Let's see. Talon Potty. All right, $2. I now want to make the play in. Please lose, Chicago. I love it. Thank you, Talon, for your $2 super chat. I appreciate that, Talon Pottle. Talon Pottle. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate that. Yeah, I want to make the play in too. It may be a stretch. 15 games. We're about 4.5 games behind the Bulls. We'll have to see if they keep losing and we can catch up, make some gains on them. We have the schedule that's very conducive for it, but in some ways, it's not totally up to us. It has to do with the Bulls and whether they're going to be bad and continue to lose and fall down. Good to see you, Talon Pottle. I appreciate your super chat. Blackhawks saying Chicago will not lose enough games for us to catch up. See, this is what I'm talking about. Neil's saying that, some of it's very dependent on what Chicago does. And in some ways, we want to control our own destiny. Well, we can only control us winning the games. In some ways, we can't totally control that either because we're trying to lose them. This is say Talon Pottle saying it's unlikely Chicago loses enough, but it has a higher chance than us being bottom 3 in the league now. That is definitely true. That is definitely true. Talon Pottle, I'm going to give you a dunk. That's what we do on this channel. We give comments that are really, really good. We give them dunks, and we keep track all year. And there's a dunk champion every year, and they get a prize from the channel. So you got your first dunk, man. You're 3 points on the dunk charts for a great first comment here, man. Mike saying Bulls are 5 games ahead and the Spurs are 4 games ahead. So it's 7 C's most likely, in my opinion. Yeah, if we're going to continue to jump ahead of the 2 Atlantic Division bottom dwellers, the Sixers and the Nets, we're going to make distance. They're the closest teams to us, but we really are going in one direction, and they're definitely going the other direction. And that could very well be that we're kind of in a spaced out place where we're just going to stay static in this spot for the rest of the season. And this is where we will have our ping pong balls from. And I could see this, but I don't mind what Talon's saying. Like, if we could catch Chicago and get in the play-in, the play-in experience would be very, very valuable to our Raptors team. It'd be very, very, very valuable. Very, very valuable. But in some ways, once again, I say Raptors fans, we have nothing to lose. We win no matter what happens. We win games. We go in the play-in. That's winning. We lose games. We get better draft chances. That's winning too. So there's nothing to be upset about for Raptors Nation. And the future is very, very bright for our roster and what we have right now with our coach. It's very, very good. Let's see. Neil's saying that Dennis had multiple years on Team Germany. We can't expect the same outcome with Dennis and the Raptors because it takes more than a year to build winning chemistry. Yeah. I mean, I felt like I wanted to give Dennis a longer time with us, but I feel like it was 2 different things that got Dennis traded midway through the season last year. One of them was the idea that this wasn't working. The team was not working with who it was on the team, and they needed to pull the rebuild. The other one is I don't totally know if Dennis actually was like getting along with everybody on the team completely. Dennis is a very particular personality, and in some ways, he's a very strong leader. And once again, what kind of seemed like what happened with Scotty in his first couple years in the league was that the natural leaders that were on the team around him needed to get out of the way so that he could be the person he is right now for our team. And that includes Fred and Dennis. Now, both of them are badasses and they love Scotty. It's like that's not the problem. Maybe Dennis and Scotty are a little weird, but I know Fred and Scott are like this. They're cool. There's no problem with Freddie and Scott. But, Dennis, maybe personality-wise, it's a similar thing with Davion. Davion's personality may not have totally meshed with the Raptors completely just because he's a very outspoken and talkative guy. That's what they were all saying over the time. It's like Davion just won't shut up, man. He just talks all the time on the buses, on the planes. and it's annoying. So, I mean, there may be a little bit of that was going on, but I agree. I wish Dennis had gotten more time with us under Darko because they're very close and they work very well together, but it wasn't to be. And in some ways, at that point, Bobby and Masai are thinking about we're reshaping, we're pulling the plug, we're doing a rebuild, trading Siakam, trading Anunoby. We might as well trade Dennis too and really start this rebuild all right now. And that's kind of what happened right there. That's kind of what happened. MJ saying, I like Dennis Schroeder's game and how he stuck by his teammates. Too bad it didn't work out with us. Also, his passing as a point guard was very good. He's a fantastic person and a great player. And I like I said, I'm a big fan of Dennis's. I wouldn't have told you if you had asked me like 4 years ago, I'd be a huge fan of Dennis Schroeder. I would have probably laughed at you. But because he came through and he showed us who he was, really truly in his time with the Raptors, I'm like, man, I'm so impressed with this guy. He's an amazing dude. Mike's saying we were a 7th seed during the Scotty year and jumped to the lottery. There you go. There you go. History repeats itself. That could happen. That could happen. That's right. Nameless saying Lex making the classic rookie GM mistake, drafting for positional needs, not realizing you can trade talent for any position you'd like. Yeah, but the technique of Bobby Masai is to shoot, not to miss. It's like OG said when Kyle Lowry inbound the ball for him against the Chicago Bulls. It's like, I don't shoot to miss. We don't draft to miss. And if we can get a good high draft pick, listen, it may just naturally line up that we're getting the positional need along with the most talented player at that spot in the draft is what I'm going to say right here, Nameless. Why not? The Venn diagram circles around and gets both in the same thing. Here's a positional need. You need a 4 or 5. And it's also the most talented player that's available in the draft right now. So that could happen too, right? Nameless, right? My paisano, right? Nameless saying, I'm taking the most talented player available, period. Don't care if he's the mascot. That don't make no sense. We are not trading the Raptor. No, we are not. Mike saying, Nick was here for 10 years. He has a real feeling and connection here. He really does. And that's part of the tragedy of what happened with him. It's like moving on after such a long period of time together. It's tough. It's like DeMar with looking at Toronto is like, that's my old girlfriend. Kind of the city is like that. Man, DeMar is such a real one, man. He really does love Toronto and Canada by far. He really does. And that's why he's a GOAT. And that's why his 10 is going to go up in the rafters, guys. That's right. Wayne saying Temple becomes a scout assistant coach and Kyle is in similar role. So there you go. Kyle Lowry is the player role that Temple's been the last 2 years, coming to us next year. I'd love that. And Temple goes to assistant coach. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, assistant coaches don't make a lot of money in the NBA totally. And Garrett Temple could make a lot of money doing all kinds of different things. So, and like I said, he has so many different paths he could set foot down after his playing career is over that I don't know if assistant coaching is actually in the top 3, honestly, guys. So I wouldn't just presuppose that Garrett wants to stick around with the Raptors organization and be assistant coach afterwards. I mean, if he wanted to do that, I'm sure they'd offer it to him. But I don't know. That's a lot of supposing. You got to understand also, Garrett might want to live in the States for after his career. It may be fun to play for us now because he's in the league, but it may not be that he wants to stay in Canada long term. There's all kinds of different factors that could be involved in this. Fiercely saying, how about we swap Temple for Lowry with the vet minimum since we'll be playoff contenders next season? He can mentor the young ones. Yeah, that's kind of what we've been saying here. And it's a nice idea. We'll see if Lowry's game, but, he's going to have to take a pay cut, obviously, to fit in with our crew now. But he might really enjoy it. I know that it might be fun to see Lowry and Barnes on the same team as very important Raptors in our history. Kyle never played with Scotty. And it could be very interesting to see Kyle Lowry around Scotty Barnes. We'll have to see. That may be a problem also, though, because, we see how Scott is right now. Scotty really is like the leader, the main leader, and Garrett's a good complementary leader. Would Kyle be able to do the same thing in that atmosphere? Probably. He'd get it. He'd understand it. Seymour saying Mountain Time wins hit different. There you go. They're later. The game wasn't over until after midnight Eastern time. And it's like, wow, it's late. Now I got to wait for the interviews. Okay, I'm going to be up till almost 2 waiting for the interviews and doing all my post-game work. That's the West Coast trip. It's just like that. Seymour saying, what a game. What a game. There you go. I love it, City Slicker. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And it's fun for you because you're on the right time zone. That's right. Let's see. Remember, wash your damn hands after every victory, every meal, flush. There you go. There you go. All right. That's some good words of wisdom from Seymour Pape today. We don't always get it from him, but we'll take it. We'll take it. There you go. The eye candy enthusiast. There you go. And I love the little maple leaf you got on your name right now, Seymour. It looks awesome. Fiercely saying, good morning, Seymour. You missed interesting discussions, but there's always the replay. Let's go, Rabbit Freak family. 10:54 cutoff. Thank you, Fiercely Saucer. I got 15 minutes till 2 hours is up. I will say this. If you do watch the Raptor Freak show afterwards and you're not live, watch me at 1.5 or 1.75 speed. It goes by very fast. I sound like Micro Machines, man, but you can understand me. Sometimes it's good to listen to me on regular speed, but if you're on a time crunch, put time and a half on. You can watch my show a lot faster if you're not live, just so y'all know. Seymour saying, Fiercey, 8:55 official Raptors time since they're in the region. Win. There you go. Seymour was loving it. They were in his time zone. He was feeling the Raptors vibe and his time zone. I love it. Nins is here. Good to see Nins, our Raptor Freak, holding it down in the city of brotherly love. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew. Seeing Jamal load up for a 3 and hitting it at a good clip feels amazing right now. If Jamal continues to develop a legit offense, the sky will be the limit for Bench Mob version 2. I love that, man. I love that so much. You know, it's true. If we want to really gauge Shed Van Vliet against Fred Van Vliet, well, Shed Van Vliet's ahead of Fred where he was in his rookie year. Fred was like the 4th point guard for the Raptors his rookie year. He barely played. He didn't get any of the minutes that Shed's getting right now. So in some ways, Shed is more athletic than Fred. In some ways, he may not have the same kind of shooting as Fred. There may be a couple of differences, but in some ways, Jamal Shed is ahead of Fred Van Vliet at this point in his career than where Fred was as an undrafted player. And that's natural. I mean, Fred was undrafted, not a second-round pick like Jamal. But if we're looking at that and we're comparing this, well, Jamal Shed's ahead of schedule is what we're saying. Taylor's saying, and who knows, if we make the play-in, we have beat Orlando 3 out of 4 times. We can beat Miami and Atlanta. Maybe we end up sneaking in the first round. The tough part is, will Chicago lose enough? Yeah, we were talking about this about a week ago, Taylor, about possibly sneaking into the play-in, beating both the play-in teams, and getting a first-round matchup with the Cavs. And that would be so tough because that's who we'd get, because we're not going to sneak in and get into the 7th or 8th position in the play-in to be in that part. And that's the team that gets the Celtics. So it would be basically like you're playing through the play-in to get a matchup against the Cavs in the first round. And that's scary. The only way we do any of this well and get anywhere is if Brandon shows up and he starts playing at the end of the season and we get something going all of a sudden, some crazy chemistry right away, instantly, and we can make a run then. But otherwise, I mean, I would say it's worth it to go to the play-in, even if we get swept by the Cavs in the first round. If we can win the play-in games, that will build a lot for this team and really give good confidence and make the Raptors feel real good. Winning a couple play-ins, people may laugh at us around the league, but hey, it's something. It's a build. It's something. So I'm not against this. It's just I know if we get into the first round, we're playing the Cavs. That's going to be so hard considering how good the Cavs are this year. But I agree with you. We could beat any of those play-in teams right now that are in that play-in bracket. It doesn't matter if it's Orlando, Miami, or Atlanta. We kick any of their asses. And Chicago, if one of the other teams fell out and Chicago was still in there, we beat them too, is what I would say. Yeah, Taylor, good to meet you, man. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Mike's saying the most security in the league is when a team wants to build with you in the plans. Dennis missed that point. OKC shipped like everyone out for picks, and the Lakers weren't a stable place. Yeah, Dennis has just been kind of a puzzle piece that's floated around the league. In some ways, he's made mistakes himself personally, but also there just hasn't been the right opportunities. And that's what this league is. That is what Kyle Lowry told Orlando Robinson this week when they played each other from their time in Miami when they were around each other. He said, you just got to find the right opportunities. You get the right opportunity, then go with it. And right now, Orlando's getting a really good opportunity with the Raptors, and he needs to go with it, like Kyle Lowry said. All right, now, Trevor's saying he wants the classic card. We're going to get to that real soon. Let me just look around and see if there's other stuff I wanted to do in my tabs. Let's go check on Blue Skies and see if there's any news around the team right now. I don't really see anything on Blue Skies. We could go look on ESPN. Nothing really interesting on ESPN. I've already talked about the things that were said about our team yesterday there. Let's see what Raptors Reddit is saying. Raptors Reddit is funny because they're very bipolar about tanking. They're very, very bipolar. They've got a funny clip of this guy Manure posted. This is shame for the Jazz, shame for the league to allow this. And it's Darko's. This is complete crap against Ben Taylor in the Lakers game that last year, where he's really mad, and it's like he's saying that it's a shame because Utah is so bad they're not even trying. Yeah, I get that. That's pretty funny. And this guy here saying problem isn't the Raptors are too good to tank. The problem is that teams like Philly, Utah, Washington, Charlotte, New Orleans have flat out quit the season. And it's honestly embarrassing for the NBA. There you go. That's a pretty good opinion. I agree with that. Let's see. Here's somebody earth warping saying, given Boucher's relationship with the front office, it stands to reason everyone is on the same page, and Boucher is confident this won't impact his upcoming free agency. Now, see, this is something that Mike was overturing. That like he's already worked it out with Bobby in the summer, and in some ways, not playing right now is really to give more development to those guys. He's going to be taken care of, and I hope that's true. I hope that's true. What Mike's saying. Let's see. Mike's saying assistants in title, but pay him like $2 to $3 million and have Temple jersey jersey in practice, and Bobby hacking the system. She's saying keep him on as assistant coach, pay him $2 to $3 million a year, and allow him to practice with the team also as a coach. I mean, that would be all possible if that was what he wanted. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I don't think assistant coaches get $2 to $3 million a year. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I don't know Ed Rogers is going to be doing that. I don't know if he will. Let's see. Wayne's saying DeRozan will always love Toronto. Compton is Compton. No comparison. And Toronto was his first travel destination outside of the misery of a place. Didn't even have a passport. At least he admits it. No, I just love that clip on How Hungry Are You with Serge, and he's doing the tough questions. And like DeMar's such a real one. He says, like they ask him, Serge says, who are better fans, Canadian fans or American fans? And he says straight up Canadian fans. And DeMar had been on the Spurs and he'd been burned by us, all that stuff. And he still said our fans were the best. And then the next question Serge asks him, of course, and this is old. I know this is like a couple years old. He asks Coach Pop or Dwayne Casey. Ooh, that's such a hard one. But DeMar does not drink the cricket juice. He straight up says, well, Casey made me who I am, so I have to go with Case. And he knows that Popovich ain't going to get mad at him for picking Dwayne Casey. But that's just how real DeMar is. It's like he picked Canada and he picked Dwayne Casey when pressed by Serge Ibaka with cricket tea. Oh, man, this is so funny. I watched the Giannis one, too, and Giannis is so hilarious. He's trying to get around Serge's questions in weird ways, and Serge is like, no, and he makes him drink it. It's so funny. At one point, Serge asks him straight up, Giannis, you will play for the Raptors, true or false? And Giannis is like, what are you trying to do? You're going to try and make me lose my job? If I'm out on the street with my children, it's your fault, Serge. He's like, what are you trying to do? I can't say whether I'm going to be a Raptor or not. I can't say true or false to that. I can't do it. So good. So good. Let's see. Blackhawks saying, can you see Kyle doing a choo-choo line to warm up the players? I remember Kyle making them exercise. Kyle's going to make them go low because he's going to go down and do that weird, like, low high five. I mean, I don't know. If Kyle Lowry can be on the Raptors next year, I'm not going to be upset about it. Fiercely saying the East has been very weak this season. I honestly would have never thought the Cavs would be this good. Can't no longer call them the Cleveland Cadavers. Yeah, they've been the best team in the league record-wise, and just right from the start. We saw them the first game of the season, and they were top-notch right away, and they have not let down. They have a franchise record 16-game winning streak for their franchise right now, and that's fantastic. It's their second 15-plus winning streak of the season. Yeah, they're no joke. They got it right. Kenny Atkinson's done a very fantastic job, and the growth of people like Evan Mobley – and, Donovan Mitchell's been fantastic too. And he is getting consideration for MVP now all of a sudden because some people brought it up recently. So much love for DeMar DeRozan. So much love. And Mike's saying coaches have played in practice before as it's an ownership spending issue, but they can do it. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you that they can't do this. But once again, I say the biggest thing that's going to hold up Garrett Temple from doing that is whether he actually wants to be a coach or not. I don't know if he wants to be a coach. Honestly, he could be in broadcasting. He could study his LSAT. He's a lawyer, and he could be like a lawyer for the players afterwards. There's all kinds of options. And, a lot of it will have to do with his wife and his family. and what their plans are. And well, in some ways, him being in Toronto and being on the Raptors is to extend his NBA career and being on our team. And it not necessarily that he wants to be here if he's a coach, is what I'm saying, Mike. That's all. Now let's see. Rico was point guard at times, etc. Oh yeah, these guys are playing in practice. Mike Batiste will get out there and do some big man work. You know, they have a couple of assistant coaches that absolutely do stuff in practice, fill in. Sometimes guys are hurt and they can't practice. When you need the extra bodies out there, yeah, those guys are out there. There's all kinds of coaches that are out there. There you go. Seymour's got the love for DeMar too. Magloire was a forward. Jamal Magloire. All right, let's see. Let's get this classic card out real quick. Is that what we want to do? Yeah, we can do this one. This one's kind of fitting for our G League game today. Our G League game. All right, here you go. Here's your classic card. It's not very classic. It's newer. Let's see if you can see it even with the shininess. This is a segment we do on the show where I take a classic basketball card, and whoever identifies it with the full name answer will get Raptor Freak trivia points added to their Raptor Freak trivia score. And at the end of the year, when the championship goes out, the Larry O'Brien, the champion of the Raptor Freak trivia, is crowned, and they get the trophy. So who knows who this is today? This is a little tough. I'll bring it up closer. You can probably tell from that. You look at them real close. Somebody we've seen recently. Somebody that I don't like. You're saying Zach LaVine? What are you talking about here, man? That's not Zach LaVine. No, it isn't. That is Wendell Carter Jr., and Seymour's got it. This is when he was on the Bulls, of course. I've lost all respect for Wendell Carter Jr. since the games we had with Orlando recently and seeing how much he was hurting people on purpose. And he doesn't even score anything. He's just like a goon out there on the court, hitting people in the face, elbowing Jonathan Mobo and breaking his nose. Yeah, this guy is a jerk. And he's officially on my I do not like list, Wendell Carter Jr. You're there. Dirty player. Dirty player, Wendell. You're very, very dirty. Dirty player. Former Duke Blue Devil, Wendell Clark. You know, something about my top 3 picks for the Raptors and Malak and Newell and Queen is very interesting. Malak is a Duke Blue Devil, of course, and we've got RJ and Brandon who are Duke Blue Devils, and that culture from Coach K and Duke and the Cameron Crazies, it carries over and they bonds people. So Malak not only would be bonded with our team through RJ and Brandon, but also through Shamshay and his Africa connections, and of course Masai. So in some ways, Common Malak is a great pick for the Raptors. And then the other 2 guys, Derek Queen and Asa Newell, they both went to Mount Verde, just like RJ and Scotty. So there's connections that are already interladen in my top 3 picks for the Raptors to draft before they come in. And it'll be easier for them to get along. I'm sure Scotty's very well aware of Derek Queen, and also Asa Newell from their Mount Verde school, playing for that high school. So I'm telling you, the ties that bind more and more in the NBA are showing that they are a guide to chemistry. And that if you have commonalities, you have prior relationships like DeMar DeRozan and Jonas Valanciunas do in Sacramento, you can cultivate easier chemistry and known quantities of friendship. You know, I think that this is something that NBA teams need to pay attention to. The Knicks are very successful with their Villanova contingency, and the Raptors on the down low have built all a web of connectedness with Kansas Jayhawks like O'Shea and Grady. You know, AJ and RJ were friends from middle school. Jonathan and Scotty were friends from elementary school. So it's like those built-in relationships are smart to have on your team. It's almost like you make an instant recipe for good chemistry on your team because you have people that already care about each other and they're friends. So I just say, if you get a Duke Blue Devil and you add them to the mix, they can relate to guys like Ingram and Barrett. And if you get a kid from Mount Verde, well, they can relate to Scotty Barnes real easy. And that's why I like that. I like that idea of all that. That's right. Monique is here. Super fan Mo made it right at the end of the stream. Always happy to see the greatest super fan, Monique Lawrence. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Go Raptors. Let's keep getting better. What a win. That's right. Dubs in the house. Big dubs for the Raptors and Scotty Barnes getting the chain. I love it, man. You thought that he was light-skinned because of the shiny? That's what it was. Yeah, I could see why you would think that. And he was kind of far away. Yeah, these cards are obnoxious, aren't they? They're like, I feel like these should be in the spokes of a kid's bike, and they don't need a reflector. Just put this in the spokes of the kid's bike, like old school, and like, oh, Johnny's safe because he has a Wendell Carter Jr. card in his spokes out there. Yeah, that's right. The cars will see it. All right, let's see. Seymour saying, don't forget to give me my points. I don't like Wendell either. There you go. He's got the butthole face out too. He brought the butthole face out for that. No, don't worry, guys. I've been updating the scores and keeping them daily up. And what I'll do is I'll put the cumulative totals for right now in the chat, in the comments after the stream. You'll see it there. Yeah, Fiercey's putting Monique on blast. I love to see it. Dirty Wendy, who keeps fouling out at games. Dirty Wendy. Don't eat it at Dirty Wendy's, is what I'll say right now. Don't eat at Wendy's at all. It's American. Monique saying stars of the game, barbecue, Robinson, and Shed. See, she don't even have to write it all out. She can put that Barnes, Barrett, and Quickly right in a row with 3 letters. I love it. Ken A's here. Good to see original Raptor Freak. Kenny back in the house. Happy for our young players and how they play. I'm happy about it too. Isaac's got us on blast. She's got Scotty, the Raptor, and Mo on blast. And Mike saying, I was debating the smartest Braun fans. They were pushing international growth is up, so USA ratings are down. Do matter. Laugh out loud. I had to set him straight and say the NBA profit is like 80% paid by US TV ads. NFL makes more money because they dominate the U.S. market where the spending power is more than Africa. Yeah, I don't know. You're getting a whole new subject right at the end of my chat, and it's 2 hours right now. So I'm going to get out of here with no comment on Mike's little bit on the end here in some ways. But yeah, debate the Braun fans, all kinds of ways. Let's do the rundown and get out of here real quick. We're playing the Windy City Bulls at 2 p.m. with the G League, 9:05 on YouTube. I'll be in the chat if you want to talk to me during the game. Maybe Blake Murphy will be there too. We can talk to him also. Players of note for Windy City Bulls, Ryan R.C. Diancono, and also Javon Freeman Liberty. So we're going to see our guy from last year, JFL, playing against the 905 today. Jared Roden, Eugenio Marui. Let's go. Let's beat the Windy City Bulls today at 2 p.m. The referees will be Pat O'Connell, Sarah Williams, and Rachel Rayford are our refs. Good job by the Raptors beating the Jazz last night by 8 points in a great game. Out there in Utah. Fantastic stuff. My stars of the game were Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, AJ Lawson, Orlando Robinson, Callan Castleton, and Jamal Shed. I went ahead and put 7 there because I felt like they deserved it from such a great effort. No birthdays today, guys. Sorry, no Raptor birthdays, but I will say get your fantasy teams going. You only got 2 days, Fiercey, and I'm up 6-1. It's going to be tough. It looks like it's going to be Gerald's spot in the playoffs, unfortunately. All right, y'all. All the best to everybody. I hope y'all have a great Saturday afternoon. And hopefully you can watch the game with me on YouTube, 9:05, tipping off at 2 o'clock and just under 3 hours from now. So hopefully I'll see you there, guys. Yeah. Let's see. Most giving me the W stream, W vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. I love it. Thank you, Monique. I appreciate it. And Fiercey saying JFL reunited with Chicago G League team. Interesting. Well, he's from Chicago, and he played for Windy City Bulls before he played for us. So yeah, he just went back to his old team there. Yeah, 6-1 is what the Raptors are in March. It's a beautiful thing. And Mike's saying the NBA don't make a lot of money for other countries. They put more into the country than they get from the TV deals. Okay, to grow the game and W your day. There you go, Isaac Campbell. Salute to you. You started me off. You're going to finish me off here. Good job, Isaac Campbell. Benevolent one. Thank you, Mike. Project Truth always. Y'all, Raptorize your day like Nat Bhatia. Get out there and touch grass. If the snow is melted, you can. And I would say, just have a fantastic day. Let's do right, do good in this world. Love. Glory to God always. And the creator above. Keep protecting everybody from the madness of the world today. And God willing, Canada be strong and free and sovereign forever. In all cases, and everything that's happening right now. All right, y'all. I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll preview the Portland Trailblazers game tomorrow morning at 9:30. And I'll have reaction to this G League game we're going to watch today. All right, guys. Thanks for watching me. Thanks to all the new subscribers and new contributors to the channel today. I hope I see your names again in the near future. We're here every day, and we ain't going nowhere. So if you like the channel and you've enjoyed being here, yeah, come back. And keep coming back to the Raptor Freak family, and you'll be more and more one of the family, just like us. Positive Raptor fans that want the best for our team no matter what, and we're just trying to get rid of the toxic vibes and the toxic attitudes of some of the other Raptors Nation people. That's what it's all about. We're for the team, first and foremost, in our hearts, And that's why we root for them with clear consciences. That's right. Let's go, Raptors. Let's get those dubs. 905. You got to break this losing streak today. Beat the Windy City Bulls, Jared Roden. That's your next assignment. That is your mission if you choose to accept it. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, 905. Let's go, tempo.